That's it. And we are apparently, most definitely, live at this very moment in time as I slowly stall until I can get to the chat and say hi to everyone. And by the way, if you guys notice my new channel banner thingy in the background, let me know. It's similar, but it's not. So again, guys, we're live. Thank you so much for rocking out with us. You guys are the best. If you're here early, thank you so much. Share it out for us. Hit the like button as we kind of shoot things into overdrive mode. It's good to be back, Cody Eastwood, man. It just feels great. It's RDX time.
It's like a weekly thing.
It's almost,
doing this RDX.
Kind of like a weekly thing.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on the show for like almost 3 years.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you've been good, man. You've been holding up well. You've been having fun gaming.
Yeah, I've been playing. I got a lot of achievements this month. I'm surprised for such a slow time of the year for games. But yeah, I'm excited.
Definitely is. Let me fix your audio a little bit here.
I'm right here. This is where I'll be. So testing, sibilance.
Okay, so I got you. Hey, we've also got Fonzarelli made it in. What's going on, buddy? All right, good talk. He's. I hear me coming back through his mic, but I don't hear him. All right, Wilmy Hood, man. Thanks for coming on, guesting, brother. How you been?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Got back into Call of Duty, Journey to the Savage Planet. I'm just trying to. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to take down my backlog, dude, because I keep adding new games to it every day.
Yeah, it's a problem, right, with being a gamer and actually supporting the software, right?
Yeah,
so.
It sucks, but somebody's got to buy the games, man. It's hard to find time to play them all.
You know, Fonza, you all right back there? You sound like you're fucking constructing your microphone for you putting it on. What are you doing? I don't know. I can hear him moving around like a rat in the closet. Hey, Tim Dog, brother, how you been, man? We know you can't stay for this whole show. You got stuff you got to tackle, but thanks again for being here, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We're very happy to be here. I'm working on my latest 4chan rumor, so let's get ready to go.
I can't wait to tackle it. It's so funny, all these websites running with any kind of PS5 rumor they can get, and then it's nuts. Zalker, how you been, buddy?
I'm doing real good, man. Just played a lot of games this week, a lot of fun. Zombie Army with Obi. I tried playing with Lethal, but that dude is like a fucking unicorn, apparently.
Leave Lethal alone.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah, leave Lethal alone.
He got his horn sawed off, and they finally got him, so he's in hiding right now. So
yeah, but no, I'm going through that, playing horde mode on that. I don't know, man. Just having a good week. Can't wait to talk about all these topics. 4chan, whatever the hell Tim's putting out there. He's the leak, and yeah, that's great.
Oh my God. Hey, we also gotta give a shout out to, again, almost 500 people already watching. Thank you so much for what you do. You power the show. You make it what it is. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share it out, show a buddy or two. There's tons of people in the world that don't know about the show and they prefer Xbox, so maybe let them know. Help us out a little bit. Fonzie, you back, buddy? All right. And D-Batch, man, how you been?
I'm good, man. I got my Oculus Quest today. What an awesome device. I can't wait to actually talk about this 4chan thing. And I'm going to say for the record, because I get nailed for it all the time, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, these guys never forget shit. When I reported on a 4K Switch, a possibility, and I reported it as a rumor, and I said my usual, take it with a fucking scoop of salt, but still people fucking hold me to it 4 years later. That leak I got from 4chan, so there's that.
You lied to me.
You're the one that said that?
It was
waiting for years for this.
He told me it was 60 frames.
You lied to me.
So, I mean, they're allowed to run with whatever, like the PS5 bullshit today. I don't know how many people are like, oh man, PS5 is more powerful, confirmed. And it's like, well, D-Batch ran with a 4K dock years ago from the same damn crackhead on 4chan, and you guys cared a lot more back then. But either way, Fonz, are you back?
Yeah, I am here.
We heard you building your microphone, buddy. How you been?
Okay. Yeah, dude, I don't know what was going on. My mixer, everything, it was all messed up. Anyways, I've been doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Sounded good. I'm going to get into some introductions. We got some great topics tonight, guys. Thanks again for joining us. I want to give a shout out to my patrons in the shout out tier. If you're a patron in general, your name should be scrolling across the top. Thanks to every one of you. But the shout out tier is Dave. We've also got the great one for real, aka KY Bob. Shout out to him. We was playing some Zombie Army not too long ago. Johnny Virtuous, Foreign Object, Teo, John Blue, I finally got back to you in the DMs, buddy. I was gone over the weekend. Darth Chaos, The Bad Boy Live, Beck Boss, Deviator X, Obi-Wan FTW, Tasteless Janie, Scout Trooper 74, Centurion 1307, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King Michael Bowen, Guillermo the Legend Cabillo, Chanagram. We've also got Naughty Nubbin. We've got Alfonso Hogan, A Squad, and Slim 73. And again, that refreshes the 1st of every month. And I think it kicks in around the 5th. So, if there's a show on the 2nd, obviously, it won't be on that show. It'll be the show after. So just know that stuff does a process all the time on the 1st. But again, that should be up to date. Let me know what you guys think of the show as we go and all the topics included. We've got some doozies for you today. So let's get started with E3 2020, Fonzarelli. Jeff Keighley, he's leaving. And I saw a headline that he was leaving because he was uncomfortable with 2020 plans. Why do you think he left? And do you think that's accurate?
I have no idea why he left, and personally, I don't care. Like, I don't understand why some people were out there putting stuff, online about how E3 is now dead because Jeff Keighley decided not to go.
Like he was hooked up via an IV to E3, and like he was keeping it alive, or what?
It was just strange. It was really strange with how people reacted to that, and I'm like, well, it's his personal choice. If he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. That whole cryptic message he put out there about,
he wants to go.
He knows some things. It's like, to me, it's part attention, and I don't know.
Oh, you being a hater right now.
Let's be honest.
I don't get it. Come on. He could be eloping that weekend with Kojima.
Let me give Game Bread a shout out. He says the Big Greens for the best podcast around. Thank you so much, sir. Colt, what was your take on this when you heard Keighley leaving? He unplugged the umbilical cord. He's gone.
I just wrote it in the chat. Jeff wants to be there. He doesn't want to mess out on an opportunity to host a show and be a face of, he loves doing that stuff. I don't know why he's bowing out. It's almost like I don't know. It's weird. Was Zucker about to say something?
I think he's about to cut you off. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Zucker can jump in because I'm kind of like at a loss, because I know he wants to be there, and I would actually I would allow Zucker to say something because I'm sure he's adding to what I'm going to say, but. Go ahead, Zucker.
I have a feeling of why he's not going. I think it has to do more with what he's building with the Game Awards show. I think he wants to make it more exclusive.
I think he wants to kill E3, Zucker. He's like, it's all here at the Game Awards now.
Well, he's just saying the Series X was announced there. New games have been announced there.
Hold on, pause that, Zucker. I got to ask you. So, did you know that Phil Spencer did a mock rehearsal where he announced some random game, and then when they went live, he announced the Xbox Series X. So Jeff was not in the know. Isn't that true?
Yeah. I remember Phil was saying.
I looked at his face, and Zucker, I know you probably looked at his face at that, and he looked so miffed. And I thought, what the heck? Like, he doesn't want to give Xbox props for making this bold statement at the Game Awards, or he's acting like he's not excited about this, because he was excited about little dinky games, but when they showed the Xbox Series X, he goes,
and to make it worse, he was excited. He was excited about that new Fast and Furious game they showed.
Shit.
Don't you guys think that he was his feelings were hurt? Like, they didn't let me in on this. Like, I had to learn about it with the rest of these peasants.
Hey, Colt,
that's kind of what I got.
Colt, go to your audio settings, man, and on Discord, your mic is just clipping for some reason. So go into your Discord audio settings.
This. How's that?
And it's fine. It
was actually loose. I just I went in there and went.
You might have did the wrong thing. Hey, Darge Knight, he says, 10 of Her Majesty's finest for the best Mac Daddy of all Mac Daddy podcasts. Thank you so much, Darge. He's actually up right now.
Here's the thing, though. What we're getting away from, though, is the fact that he said, knowing what he knows. What the hell does he know? Stop being cryptic.
Long division.
Just put it out there.
Well, what I heard is that he wanted more power. So he ran the panels at E3. If you guys are familiar with that, that's basically after E3 is or it's going on. the interviews and all the interviews are run at the Coliseum, and he was running that. And supposedly, I heard he wanted even more power, and it was a power thing and a power struggle. Because I first thought I didn't understand why.
You saying this motherfucker's trying to be Emperor Palpatine right now?
Yeah, he was looking for more power. That's what I heard from a very good source.
Well, that's
Jeff Keighley himself confirmed.
That's interesting. Also, it's a dark day in gaming because Foreskin has changed his name to HollowPoint 5557, and he just became a new channel member. So thank you so much, formerly known as Foreskin, now HollowPoint 5557. Thank you so much.
New
sir.
picture too.
Yeah, new picture. So we don't have to guess what that was.
I'm actually really sad about it.
Yeah. Chat will never be the same.
Either way, I mean, Jeff Keighley is, he's been around forever, and he's not doing E3 for the first time in 5,000 years now. So that's interesting. Either way, I mean, E3 is E3. Microsoft going to be there. A ton of companies and publishers and developers will be there. I'm still excited to see what they have. They have to go pretty big this year. PlayStation hiring for Xbox right now. Their San Diego MLB studio job listings have come out for the Xbox port of MLB The Show 21. This is say it or don't. Like, it's still quite intriguing, D-Batch, to see something like this. PlayStation Studio hiring to develop a game for Xbox.
I think it's awesome that we're finally going to get PlayStation exclusives on the Xbox brand. I think it's great. Well, you know what? It all came down to money at the end of the day. And these companies, they want to make money. And I think Sony might suffer more than other companies because their fan base is like, they're so rabid that if they make a decision, Sony's like, oh shit, is the fan base gonna like this decision? And they base a lot of decisions on the fan base when they shouldn't. They should just be basing their decisions on the bottom line, money. Now, apparently they were gonna lose the license, and in order for them to keep the license, they had to make it multi-plat. And I think it's great for all gamers, for starters. And number two, if you're such a Sony stan, they're gonna make more money because now they have millions and millions of more gamers that they can sell their game to. I don't know if it's coming to PC. I didn't look that deep into it, but I know it's coming to the Xbox. And what can I say, man? That's millions of users that will have access to this formerly known Sony exclusive. And let's just be honest, there's no other Major League Baseball game anyway. So this is a win-win for everybody.
Shady messaged me, by the way. He says, just a reminder that the 100 reward points that you spend per dollar currently is actually being reduced to 20 points, and that is starting mid-March. So he did send me a message about that. I don't know exactly how that works. I just know when I spend money, I get money back. That's why none of us have paid for Xbox Live in like 500 years. So yeah, shout out to Shady for sending that to me, by the way. Either way, MLB The Show coming to your favorite Xbox console soon. I wonder if it'll come to the older ones like Xbox One as well. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that it would skip it, seeing as it's not a super demanding game. But either way, we do have to go ahead and move forward. We've got something I really wanted to bring up real quick was State of Decay Juggernaut Edition. This is State of Decay 2 with new content. I think it has a new map, new weapons. It's got new control schemes for stealth and stuff like that. It's got graphical changes as well, some enhancements, and it's being released on Steam. That's next month. That is a free upgrade to everyone who enjoyed the game. Myself, I gave State of Decay 2, I think, like a 7.5. I enjoyed it. That's not a bad score. I'm a big fan of State of Decay 1, so this one does everything better than State of Decay 1, and it has some issues at launch with some peer-to-peer stuff and some glitches, and some people had really bad experiences. I get that, but now it's pretty polished, and if you haven't tried it. Anybody tempted, like Wilmy, are you tempted to jump into State of Decay 2 with this Juggernaut Edition, or are you like, nah?
I'll give it a shot. I hadn't played in a few months. I'm willing to go back into it and give it another run, see if it, just check it out. I enjoyed it the first time around, so I'll give it.
It's a free update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to owners and those in Game Pass, anyway. I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, me and Zachary was actually playing that kind of recently. We had some good fun with it. So
like 3 months ago, whatever, and we played it a shit ton, and that was intense, man. Like that game gives you like, oh, I feel pretty good and it's pretty easy. The next thing you know, you're fucking almost dead, crawling back to your base, no car, wondering what's happening with your life, and you're like, fuck, this shit turned hella bad. It's pretty good.
You say it feels pretty good. That was on PC, right?
100%. It was 60 frames.
No, he was playing it on. He was playing it on the X. So we've also got Child of God. He says, not a console fanboy or anything, but but I've seen what the Xbox has been through, criticized over nothing largely. Xbox is going to be everywhere with the moves they are making now, and you know what? That's a good point. Again, man, we can't say it enough. Xbox are setting themselves up to do things in a way that no one else is going to be prepared to do, and that starts this year with things like xCloud in every region or a lot of regions. You've got that availability, which could potentially, triple or quadruple your install base in a few months if done right. Then you've got the Series X, which should be the most powerful console. The Lockhart, which, yes, is still real. Just heard some stuff about it recently. If you listen to the end of my last video, that is coming in on the bottom side there. And then you've got the PC stuff, and then you got Game Pass on all those platforms. I don't see anyone else doing this much, man. Like Fonz, we've talked about this before, but I mean, think about it. From the outside looking in, is anyone else in as many places? Are they as flexible as this?
No, but that's the whole point of where Xbox is headed, right? They want to become this global brand that they're trying to get their way into anyway. But the thing is if you look over at the other side, PlayStation's very quiet right now. Sony is quiet, and I'm just wondering what is going on there. Honestly, that's what's got me more curious. Is we're hearing all this stuff about Xbox, but what's going on over there?
Mm-hmm.
That's what people really want to know.
They're looking for any type of advantage they can get for next generation because they had the power advantage last year, the price advantage or last generation, and right now Xbox isn't fucking around. And I've said this in my videos. We've talked about it here. Sony's looking for anything they're strategizing. They're sitting there going like, what can we do better than the competition? And right now, Phil Spencer kind of said it. They're not going to do better in streaming subscriptions. Like
they're not on PC in the way that
they're not on PC. Like they have a lot of fucking work people to do. And I know we kept saying it's going to come to PC. It's going to come to streaming. Sony's going that route. It is, but you know how much money they need to invest and how long it's going to take. They're going to be fucking left behind.
They're a few years behind. I would say.
And if Sony takes a $50 loss per console and they don't have PC games to sell and big services to sell, like PS Now is like on 1 million, maybe 2 million people, they're not making enough money. They don't have a way to subsidize a huge.
They do. Think about it.
They're going to sell a ton of games, but if they take a $50 loss on every console and they sell 5 or 6 million consoles the first year for the PS5, like.
For one, we're going to get into the $50 thing and all that stuff. We'll get into that. But, I want to save those big points for them to make that a more engaging discussion. Sony have a lot of ways to recoup costs. Buy one controller, you potentially make up for that loss. So there's just a lot of things that trickle down and trickle up in this whole, all this bullshit. And we'll get to it. Sovereign, by the way, says that Jeff Keighley is dreaming of power. Then he can power his dreams with the Xbox Series X. Boom! That's kind of a good point. So, I mean, again, it's one of those things where Sony are doing the same shit. They seem to be a couple years behind with things like Game Pass and PlayStation Now. People forget PlayStation Now has more games downloadable on PS4 than Game Pass has on Xbox. The difference is that Game Pass has Play Anywhere, which is included. So if you're a Game Pass member on Xbox, you can play those Play Anywhere titles on your PC as well. They got Game Pass on PC. That's a difference where they've got their own separate library and catalog on PC. And one more difference is PlayStation Now is actually cheaper if you get it for the whole year. That's an advantage. But the thing they don't have is the day and date. They don't have the day and date.
You know what else they have, though?
They don't have PS3 games able to play locally on your PS4.
Yeah, they don't have those. They don't have those, but nobody really gets Game Pass for the 360 games,
No, I'm just saying that's another thing is the local stuff.
The Xbox has more high-rated games too, according to Metacritic.
I mean,
Xbox Game Pass.
You just look every month the way. Sorry to cut you off, but you just look every month. You just look at what they just pushed out. Yakuza. Sorry,
Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
God damn you, Yakuza.
You have Kingdom Hearts 3. You have Hospital something Doctor, which actually, if it's a high-rated PC game, they've been.
Where's genital jousting at, Tim? When's that coming?
No, but they've been every month. You just look at every month. They're just throwing big games. Control is still coming. You don't see that on PlayStation Now. You don't see these type of games. Rage 2. You're getting.
I mean, you'd be surprised though. Like I was looking through it not too long ago, man. And I was like, man, a lot of these are in Game Pass. Like that PS Now is not bad. Like if you really remember, because Game Pass forced them to let games be downloadable, and ever since then, like it's not bad. It's just missing day and date.
Well,
and shout out to Nuke Nukem, by the way.
Yeah, I think that well, we'll get into it in the later things if I'm there, but I think that they're going to have pressure to do day and date, in my opinion.
Yes.
Just because if they do that one day and date, they do that to PSN now, the whole conversation changes. It really does because of how good their first party output is.
Hey, Philly Eagle, real quick, and I want to go to D. He says, Any still claiming they aren't offended by Sony backing out of E3 of the same frauds, tweeting, wait till E3. Congrats, you played yourself. Philly's been savage the last couple of weeks. Shout out to Philly.
So I'm gonna have to say that for PS Now, I think the day and date is like it has to come, but I also think they need to put more like current games in there. Like I remember Game Pass had Vermintide, just a bunch of games that you're like, whoa, okay, this is day and date, cool, I'll play that. And they keep adding big games every single month, but
Constantly.
like PlayStation, like right now, like all right, Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, and that's what 2 months out of 12 of the year. Like, what would people stay subbed for? Like that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, all right, when they beat those games, they're gonna unsub.
What do you mean? That's the same logic motherfuckers use against Game Pass.
How is it the same thing? We're getting like different games every single month.
They get new games every month too, Zucker.
What I'm saying is like, what big new third-party games go in their day and date?
I mean, what big new third-party games are coming to Game Pass day and date?
I just told you like Vermintide, stuff like that.
Vermintide was not a big new third-party game. Like it was an underrated, under lesser known game that really deserved what it got from Game Pass, which was a lot of exposure.
What Game Pass did was some pretty big games in 2019 were in Game Pass not long after they came out, like Metro Exodus, Devil May Cry 5, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then the day and date stuff like Zocker's talking, including the first party content. Open Critics said that no other service has more high-rated games than Xbox Game Pass.
That's true.
Now, as soon as Sony says, look, Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2, day and date PlayStation Now, they will not have 1 million subs. They'll have like 5 million or 8 million subs. Like, it'll be a big deal for them. And that could be a way to subsidize if they have to take a loss, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, like everyone's allowed to have their own opinion and stuff. I was just kind of thinking like, yeah, I know Microsoft had done some day and date stuff in the past, but like if it were day and date Rage 2, even though that game didn't do the greatest, or like something massive like Cyberpunk, like that's huge. But I don't want to undersell what PlayStation Now has become, because it is no longer a dog shit streaming service with 200 milliseconds input lag. It is something much more now, and that's because of a competitor like Game Pass. And we've preached this over and over. Competition is so key that a lot of these people don't understand, and that's why I cringe when people make assumptions about what we said without watching what we've said, because they listen to idiots who just lie. So again, that's what we're all about, man. So again, we gotta give a shout out to over 1,100 people watch this already, guys. Thank you so much for what you do. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's try to get to 500-600 for the end of the show. 1,000 after the fact. Share this with a buddy as I talk like a rapper.
I just want to add on the PS Now situation.
Yeah,
I really do think they're going to bring their games. They're going to start to slowly bring their games day and date, if not really close to day and date. And the evidence that we have for that is Azure. Why would they go and get Azure servers from Microsoft? First of all, Sony's a prideful company. So for them to do that, they needed to do that. Now, why would they do that if they were not expecting a huge influx on consumers or on gamers, right?
I mean, we've said it, D, like they're going to put their PS5s in Azure server racks and have the same xCloud-ish type PlayStation streaming service.
Yeah.
Okay. How much is PS Now currently? Monthly?
It's $60 for a whole year, which that's how it's cheaper for a year over Game Pass, or it's $10 a month, same as Game Pass.
Okay, so if you take that with the number of its users, the last time we heard anything was what, like 700,000 or something
1
like
million.
that subscribers.
They said they doubled.
Okay, so they got 1
1
million.
million.
You're looking at least $1 billion in revenue a year with PS Now as it stands. So do they really need to be forced to do day and date?
What's better, 1 billion or 2 billion? 1.7 billion.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. They could do close to day and date, and they could probably double their numbers.
I mean, they'll do day and date because their competitor does day and date, and their fans will eventually cry out for it.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Everything they've done is because they've.
I gotta say this right now. Honest, this argument is just so silly. If you're invested in the PlayStation ecosystem, you're gonna get a PlayStation 5. It's not going to change the quality of your PlayStation 5 exclusive. You're still gonna get to play it on that console. So it being on another device or on the cloud or fucking on your laptop, on your phone, it doesn't detract from it being on the PlayStation 5. Now, those other customers that probably weren't going to get a PlayStation 5 will have access to it on their cell phone, on their fucking PC, on their fucking laptop, and they'll get to play that game.
But what I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to say here is, let's say they decide to do it a month out, not day and date.
Immortal Jedi, you fraud! Don't even start. Origins is not better than Odyssey. I'm sorry, Fonz.
I think that would still generate a larger user base. I think they would get.
Yes, it would, but not as large as
it would get me in.
Not as large as day and date, because you got a lot of PC. You got to understand, there's a lot of PC gamers out there, and we can make fun of PC gamers all we want, but they play games and they buy a lot of games and they have a fucking huge user base. Now, there's a lot of PC guys that frown upon the consoles, saying, we're fucking peasants, and
true.
I'll
Hold
never
that
get
our
your
hands
money.
with fucking bread.
Where you're going to support my stance. The fact is, the PC guys will wait a month or two for a brand new game.
Who cares? Like, I mean, you should want day and date. Who gives a fuck? I mean, that's what it all comes down to, right?
Of course I would want day and date, but the thing is do they have to?
No one has to. Microsoft didn't have to.
But they'll make more money if they do it day and date.
I mean, Game Pass was already doing well before day and date on Game Pass. I mean, no one has to.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be forced to.
Yeah.
It's $10 a month though, Fonz, and $25 for 3 months and $60 for a year. I'm looking at the games right now. There's no fucking search function to see what games are in here, so it's just a big fuck you list.
Welcome to PlayStation.
No, it really is
put
amazing.
a bubble search in there. God damn, dude.
And
no, it's amazing what Game Pass provides. It really is. It's amazing that they give us day and date. I am totally shocked by that. When they did it, I was totally shocked, and it's amazing, but. Do other companies have to? Are they going to be forced to? I think. Well,
think about it. Like even EA are doing it. EA do it. Ubisoft are doing it now.
But they'll get closer to that target. Will they one day possibly go day and date?
Yes, they will go in day and date. This is not like something
that's where the money is at. And another thing I got to say, not to you specifically, Fonz, but all these guys are just saying, "Oh, I don't want it to be day and date, this and that." I guarantee you.
No, I want it
PS
to be.
now comes out with day and date games. PlayStation 4 owners, PlayStation 5 owners are going to fucking subscribe to it. You know why? Because it's a no fucking brainer.
D, for $60 a year, if you pay monthly for $120 a year, 2 of those first-party games on PS5 within that calendar year pay for PS Now, plus all the games you get. That's why Game Pass is so huge. Yeah. Somebody in the chat said, well, then why doesn't Disney Plus put their movies day and date? Like, well, explain to me why Game Pass is so much bigger than PS Now. It's because it is a huge value, and a lot of people are jumping on to enjoy the value.
That you don't really compare like Disney Plus and their brand new movies, and it's just different.
And movies, it's totally different, but people have it backwards. Like they always say games are going to be affected by Game Pass. It's the total opposite.
Yeah.
Game Pass doesn't affect the games. The games benefit Game Pass, because I was talking to, I think it was Dealer and Rand. I'm like, name me some games that were made with Game Pass in mind. And really the only couple we could think of was Forza Horizon 4 and Gears 5. Those were both started in major development knowing they would launch on Game Pass. And both those games are really well made. Now, you can't say Crackdown 3, that Trash Down 3, because that game started in like 2004.
No, like Sea of Thieves,
you know what I mean.
Crackdown, State of Decay, those games were in development before Game Pass was even a concept.
And you can't say Grounded and Bleeding Edge were made with Game Pass in mind. Those were made before they were even acquired. Like, everyone has it backwards. Game Pass benefits from the games. It's not the other way around. Developers aren't going to go, well, we're going to Game Pass, so let's just make a crappy game.
I mean, D is on a great rant here. D, go ahead and sum up your rant, motherfucker. You're going crazy today.
I also want to say that these type of services will actually spew more games. They'll actually have more games because they're making more revenue, and to sustain the service, a game service, you got to have games. Like, why do people act like Sony has like 6 AAA fucking exclusives a year? They don't. They have like maybe 2 a year. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you're right, and I also wanted to
Last
put
year
out
they
there
had
one
0.
last. I wanted to put out one last thing before we.
I loved Crackdown 3, by the way. K Tucker says, "Wow, I was being facetious. I really enjoyed that game. I gave it like a 78 out of 100."
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. Even if you gave it a 6, who gives a fuck? You're allowed to disagree with everyone. So basically, something I wanted to throw out there too about Game Pass and PS Now is, let's say God of War 2 is coming out when PS5 launch, and you got Halo Infinite on Xbox Series X launch. Those are good ways to look at subsidizing your next-gen console purchase as well. So let's say you were originally going to get Halo Infinite anyway, day one for Series X. Well, now you get Series X and Halo Infinite is included in that Game Pass. You essentially just took off $50-$60 off your next-gen console purchase. I mean, if you really think about things like that, the amount of these games that are going to be in there that you're going to play day one that you were going to buy anyway, you can now, if you choose, want to rent it through Game Pass, you can basically subsidize those purchases that way. I mean, and take $60 off the price of a Series X, right?
And that's just somebody that might even have an Xbox One. Imagine somebody that doesn't have one is buying it, and then there's like, oh wow, I have all these other games to fucking
now there's
play.
200 games,
Saves
like
you even more.
Yeah,
You
so
save even
hey,
more money.
we've been talking about this for a minute, but I wanted to get Colt to go over real briefly this article where a developer actually goes into some detail on how the Game Pass deals between Xbox and the developers work. For those that were curious, this developer actually went on record and talked about the deal and how it kind of went down. Colt, do you have that ready, booted up there?
Yep.
So go ahead and kind of give the context there.
The context is a developer of Unto the End, which is a game I've never tried out, but they said, I don't know what other deals there are. They do give you a lump sum of money on release, which I guess is offsetting or anticipation of whatever you would sell if you were in the store, which is something that we've speculated that they give you a lump sum based on what you could sell. So he says, I'll keep quoting, for us, there are no bonuses nor royalties for playtime or how many people we have on the subscription. For us, it's a chunk of money when we give them the game on day one. We're exclusive with Xbox Game Pass for 6 months, which means no other subscription service like Apple Arcade for that time period. It can be on Steam, it could be on Sony, it could be on Xbox, stuff like that that's normally purchased, either physical or digital, but not any other streaming subscription service.
So it's a little bit of a context. And we were also told by Obi1FTW went to the Redmond campus and talked to him a little bit about Game Pass and basically said it's like a mixture between that and Spotify, how artists make deals on Spotify and release albums there, which I found pretty interesting as well. Malice talks. He says, I think games could come day and date if my mouse would stop fucking up. Also, we should be allowed to stream demos of games to check. Yes, 100%. And we've talked about that. That's why xCloud is coming to console. So with xCloud on console, when it eventually shows up, you'll be able to actually stream and try out games instantly from your console without downloading them. I also think that's how they're going to get games booted up quicker. If you choose to, you can start streaming the game while it downloads in the background, and that way there is no wait time at all. Taking away Stadia is pretty much one advantage, really, in terms of boot times for games. That's how they might get around that. And also, we got to give a shout out to 1,300 people watching live, guys. Thank you so much for what you do. Let's try to hit 500 or 600 likes for the end of the show. 1,000 after the fact. Share this out for us. Help us out a little bit. Tim Doug, Game Pass.
He's got to yell.
He doesn't. Tim, knowing what you do about Game Pass and how successful it is, we'll cap off the whole Game Pass discussion with this developer interview, basically saying, hey, they reward us with what they think or what we think we're going to sell day one, and then over a certain period, there's a stipulation here or there. Do you have any thoughts about that at all? That somebody is building something in the background?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. This is going to be a little, just bear with me. But
okay.
I thought it was pretty funny that, Microsoft says that their competition is Google and the other guys, and that kind of shows it right there. Like, they're saying you can have your game on Sony, you can have it over there, but don't go to Google or don't go to Apple. So I just think that that's pretty cool. Well, not cool, but just pretty interesting how that basically transpired, where they're looking at the subscription companies rather than the Sony's or the Nintendo. They'll allow the games go there, but they're putting a restriction on that. So that's something new I learned.
Sorry, I was a little. Yeah, I think he was basically saying you can still bring it to the PlayStation Store, but you can't bring it to like PS Now or the Apple Play Store. I don't think they want it on PS Now either, though.
There's a GIF of Zucker on the super chat. It looks just like him.
Oh my god!
That's me with my little weights and everything, bitch.
Game Genie Prime says, "Good show, guys. Thank you so much." You got a GIF of yourself, Zucker? How'd you get that?
It's like a little blue pair, like lifting
like
weights with a sweatband.
Hey, unknown MIA says, "Keep it up." What is that? Since when are those a thing?
That's awesome. It's like a little GIF. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's interesting. Either way,
YouTube channel.
I want to get Wilmy's take on some things. So we're gonna keep moving down the topics list here. But either way, I mean, it's pretty interesting there. Wilmy, I know you probably got 500 of these things. Elite Series 2 is one of the fastest selling gamepads ever. Are you surprised by this at almost $200 a pop? Are you surprised that Series X or Elite Series 2 is doing so well?
Not at all. I have 5 of them.
Oh my god.
Really?
What are you doing with these things?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. I bought 2 in the beginning. I bought one for myself, one for my wife, and I was so impressed with it. I'm like, okay, screw all these other controllers. I went and bought 3 more. I've got one for every console in my house now.
Man.
One for each testicle. Well, I mean,
I wish I had 5 testicles, but I don't. but no, man. I mean, there's just so much of a difference between the Elite 2 and the original Elite, in my opinion. I think it's a much better controller.
Yeah, we had the hardware engineer behind the Elite Series 2, David 8K was on here a few weeks ago. Prime? Optimus Prime? I mean, we had him on a few weeks ago, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he tweeted out that what did he say? Do you remember what he said? He said, "Does this mean that
he made a phone?" Yeah.
No, Zucker, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I mean, he was proud, as he should be. It's an expensive controller for it to be doing so well. Hey, it's a quality machine. I might get one. I don't know though.
You don't have. Whoa! You don't. You're on Colt Eastwood's podcast every week, and you don't have a new Elite controller.
No, Colt Eastwood is on my podcast every week, and no, I do not have an Elite Series 2. Colt Eastwood, do you have an Elite Series 2? Colt Eastwood?
No, I was going to ask you if you've had a regular Elite. You know,
I did.
You have the first
but
okay,
I do not use the paddles on the back. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm not using any capability for this thing.
Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't bought the Elite V2 yet.
But you have the first Elite.
But I have the first one, yeah, and I love it. I use it all the time.
And the grips haven't fallen off in 3 weeks like it has for a lot of.
I've had it since what would have been a little like 14 months. Yeah, the grips haven't come off at all. No, the thing's been great. I mean, I take care of my stuff.
Now I will say anybody. The first Elite that I purchased came from Best Buy here locally, and within 8 hours the controller took a shit. The buttons would not work. But on the upside of that, I got on my PC, contacted Microsoft. They sent me a new one out. I had it within 3 days, and they gave me 8 months free Game Pass Ultimate.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Hey, by the way, I think I might have mentioned this earlier. This is Jedi Fallen Order, the PC version at ultra settings, and I got this footage and played this because I wanted to show people the difference between the Series X. What I think if this game got patched for Series X, I think it would look like this. It would look pretty damn close at 60 frames. And
shut up, Kid Smooth.
Maybe if you're used to the Xbox One X version, visually it's not a ton different, but the frame rate's very, very dramatic and very noticeable. The load times are very, very good on it. I think it looks great, but obviously not a game that's really developed for higher end, super high end console type stuff. I mean, but hey, on a 2080, it looks pretty good. I'm able to get it at ultra settings at around 1440p. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to show everyone that watches the show what it looks like, but it's at 1080p, 10 megs per second upload. So still, the quality isn't really there, but I'm trying here. So that's what it looks like on the PC.
I'm looking at it on my set right now. It looks pretty good. I just want to touch real quick on the Elite version 2. I have one too. And at first I was like, oh, do I really need to upgrade it? Because there's nothing wrong with my controller. My controller, the general problem with the first version of the Elite controller was the upper triggers. They would usually, like the right side would actually clip out, because I actually got a lot in the store that had to get repaired. So that was a known issue. So I didn't have any issues with mine. So I didn't really need to upgrade. I went to the store, I saw it, and I just fell in love. It was just so sexy. And when I got it home and plugged that and hooked it up, and just the feel of it in your hand, it has some weight to it. And I was a little bit skeptical on the rechargeable battery, because I do like the option of flipping my own rechargeable batteries and not having to wait to charge the damn thing. But the battery lasts remarkably long. I'm surprised, man.
Hey, I gotta give a shout out to Nano Polymath in the chat, by the way, and Sean Labrie, as well as Emma, who says, show a different game that's exclusive to Xbox, because this is on other platforms. Well, that's what we all mostly play, is multi-platform stuff. So if I wanted to show God of War and Spider-Man, what I show after those 2 weeks? Death Stranding, already showed that. What I show after those 3 podcasts? Like, not much else, right? So
Death Stranding, Anyways, moving on. For the Elite controller, I don't get how people are surprised that it sold so well. Like, I remember the Elite controller they brought out, they were kind of like, we'll see how it does, and it fucking killed. Like, everybody I know bought one. So it's like, all right, what do you think? What do you think the Elite 2 is gonna do?
They never thought it would sell at that price. That was the thing. Even Microsoft was very, very leery about.
I don't know why. Scuff were selling. I mean, they are a competitor to Scuff.
Well, they learned their lesson, but guess what? Right now, if you try to find an Elite 2 in the New York area, and I've heard this all over, you cannot find it in store.
That's bullshit, Tim. Why didn't you buy extras for us?
So, do you guys know this? When I look on Amazon on my phone, it says it's the best seller, but is that only in the US? Because I'm looking at it from like my store access.
No, it's just how many you bought, so that's why.
No, but it's a different storefront. It's a different storefront than they get over in the UK.
So I didn't know if that was like in the US, like it's the best selling controller right now, and I don't know. It is surprising for being a $172 controller that it's third best selling 3 months.
Yeah, that's why my cheap ass would never buy one. Too expensive.
Yeah, I'm glad I have the first one, but we weren't here to talk about controllers the whole night, were we, dealer?
Well, I mean, I don't care if it sells. I don't care if it sells well or not. Like, it's a quality product.
Games, but we got controllers.
Yeah, you know what? My Scorpio Edition controller it keeps going out from time to time. Like, it just disconnects from the Xbox, and it's really
I've heard that's been a problem forever. You should have sold it.
It has been since day one.
Nano's the best. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, by the way. Shout out to Obi-Wan and Lethal Papa, as well as those guys are fantastic moderators. Womie is in the chat, obviously moderating. Invader, Dreadpool, all you guys in the chat. I wish I could shout out everybody, including some guy, Timothy Clark, and of course Manny Will. Thank you so much for joining us live for the podcast. You guys are fantastic. The best ever. You make the show what it is, as I'm done stalling here and we get to the next topic. There is...
Oh, we're done with controllers?
I think so. You guys just felt like you wanted to talk about that forever. So Let's talk about something else. And chat, this is where I want a lot of input from you. I might even do like a poll kind of vote thing, 1 or 2 type thing in the chat. But Bleeding Edge just had an open beta or an alpha or whatever. And basically... I played a round or 2, and I'm like, man, this game actually looks better than I thought it would. It runs at a good frame rate, and it seems pretty polished for what it is, but it's not necessarily my type of game. That's not a bad or good thing. Some people don't like RTS games, etc., right? So it's just not my type of game. I'll play it when it hits Game Pass. I'm going to avoid Fonz on this because he's going to be super negative on it. But
No, you ain't going to avoid me, damn it. No.
Fonz, did you play it?
Jump in right now. Yes, I have played Bleeding Edge, and I'll tell you, it's not my type of game. It's a MOBA. I don't like MOBAs. And traditionally, MOBAs don't do well on consoles. So it's not going to be a game for everybody for sure, especially on consoles.
It's a MOBA without minions, but whatever.
It's it is what it is, man. Like, I'm not going to hate on it. Like, some people do like it. They like MOBAs. They like these type of games. Let them play the game.
Well, let me get the chat poll going as we kind of get Zalker's take on it. Zalker, did you actually even play it?
I'm the biggest piece of shit.
Okay.
In this chat
Well
right
said.
Now, I haven't played it. I didn't play it.
I'm not surprised for some reason. It's kind of weird.
It was open all weekend, Zucker.
I wasn't home.
I wasn't home except for on Saturday when no one else was on, and I complained about it.
I played Zombie, dude. I played Zombie before the whole time.
All right, well, let me. I'll ask Colt then. So anyone else who played it, but first I want to ask the chat. Hey, give us a 1 if you actually enjoyed Bleeding Edge and you played it, or 2 if you just didn't play it yet, or if you didn't enjoy it rather. So 1 if you enjoyed it, 2 if you didn't enjoy it. Please, if you didn't play it, maybe hit a 3. I don't know. Just curious. A lot of people didn't get a chance to play it because it kind of came out of nowhere. Colt, you got to play it. What were your thoughts on it, real quick?
The game's cool looking. It runs at 60 frames. It's colorful. It's got really cool music. My personal problem with it, and they can't fix this, is it doesn't have any shooty stuff.
So it's just not your type.
I mean, like I use the Gizmo because she has like the Gatling gun. Like I just want to play a game against other people where you're shooting each other. But like I like melee stuff in certain games, but it's 4v4, so there's only 4 enemies to go after, and your character is pretty slow until you get into combat. So I know people are going to like it. I think like we're predicting, my friends I've been talking to about, like we'll predict it'll get in the 70s. It'll be, it's a competent
that's what you
game.
think, it'll be in the 70s?
Yeah, it'll probably get rated in the 70s, and there's nothing really wrong with it, but it's just not something that I think like Overwatch takes the world by storm, because it's a first-person shooting style game. It does kind of what Call of Duty people like. It does kind of like what MOBA lane people like. Overwatch is a huge hit, but Bleeding Edge is not anywhere. It shouldn't really be compared to that. So
I think it'll find a strong, focused community through Game Pass, but you're gonna need teamwork if you're gonna play it. Play it with friends. Use teamwork. Do not go out alone because you'll get fucked up. No lone wolfing. And it's a different type of game. We got a lot of mixed results. We got a lot of 1s. We also got a lot of 2s and some 3s in there. So
when does it actually release?
What is that?
March.
Yeah.
So next month.
Man, March is.
And I'll pour some cold water. A lot of people are saying, I can't wait to see what they do and how they improve the game and how they add to it and what kind of characters. I need to constantly remind people, when you play a beta.
Here, get back from the mic a little bit, Colt. Or maybe talk a little lower.
Close?
You're clipping.
When you play a beta, the game's pretty much done. They're just ironing out little things. So if they are going to add characters, that's like way down the road. So
Game Pass teased it. The Twitter, I think they put like a bunch of stuff, or somebody teased it that they are adding a new character, a new map, a couple other little things, and that I don't know. There's somebody
but
that
none
I
of
saw
that matters. None of that matters if you don't like the type of game. That's the thing.
right.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
If you don't like that style of game, it doesn't matter if they put in another character or what.
Well, it's not for
honestly,
those people. I'm not saying
these
that for
types
those
of games.
people.
I mean, really, honestly, think about it. These types of games. Look at what happened to Battleborn. They don't do well on console. They don't.
Well, Battleborn didn't do well anywhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Battleborn didn't do nothing anywhere. But that's the thing. That's not just on console, right? It's going to PC also.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tim, what were you saying, bud?
Yeah, personally, I was surprised. I actually thought it was much better than I thought it was going to be. I agree with Colt. It's going to be in the 75 meta range. I do think it's going to have a cult following, though. I played a bunch of games, and even though I lost every single game, you have to work with your team. You have to select the right team, and you have to do the right things which your character does. So obviously, if you're a medical person or you're the meds, you follow people, or you follow your strongest character. If you're the tank, you stay on the positions, and you're harder to kill. Plus the modding and everything. I honestly was surprised by it, but I'm in total agreement. It's a game that not many are gonna like, or they're gonna have a problem with. It's not gonna be a big hit. But I do think it's going to have a kind of a cult following, to be honest.
I think they said they were working on it for like 3 years, right, Tim?
With like 6 people.
They were working on it, and they actually went to Microsoft and said, can we still continue this and actually, push it up? They're up to about, I think, like 20 people.
So instead of forcing them to shut it down and, telling them they can't make it, Microsoft did the opposite of controlling what they're making and said, no, man, you already making this? Go ahead.
Right. Well, that's the initiative that Phil's pushing, creative-led studios. So basically, more or less, if you want to do something, they're going to let you do it. And they showed that with Grounded as well. That was another small project that was pitched to Phil.
When does that come out?
And that comes I believe the preview comes out in April.
Now, say what you will about that one, but that one I think will have more of an appeal to more people. You got, I think it's third person. It is a kind of silly premise to some people, whatever. It's not as serious as some would like. But you are fighting a bunch of enemies. You're shrunk down underground. You're also building forts at the same time of doing all this. So that is more appealing to even me. So
Dude,
I mean,
it's fucking insane. Like, just take a step back. It's insane. Like, we're getting Ori, we're getting Bleeding Edge, Grounded.
I mean,
Gears
don't
Tactics,
list
Wasteland.
off
It's like,
those.
Jesus. No, it's insane. Like how much shit's coming out.
Somebody listed
Doom
off all the games that's
Eternal.
coming out this year, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of depressing. Thanks.
Doom Eternal.
Ori's really
Doom
good. That's
Eternal?
not depressing at all.
Now Ori's gonna be great.
Halo's
Doom,
coming out this year.
yeah, Halo's coming out this year. Hopefully, a Forza's coming out this year. It's time. It's been 3 years this year for a motorsport. Hey, Manny Will says 12 teraflop tower of power greater than 9.2 teraflop weak station. That's savage, Manny. Why are you going so hard for?
He's
Huh?
savage.
Going so hard on everyone for, huh?
Come on now, they add a teraflop every week, so
Yeah.
they're doing really well.
Teraflop a
We'll be
week.
like at 98 by the
That
time
is-
it comes out.
That is true. Chaos Mike says Bleeding Edge was fun with friends versus solo queuing. The music is awesome. That is, I did notice that. The gameplay was smooth and great. Think that 60 FPS. Love the visuals between fighters and their moves. So yes, big fan of it already here. And we're not saying
And
you
it's
shouldn't
not-
be, for sure.
And it's definitely not an unfinished or broken game. Like people have been
Very
I've been playing
polished.
the alpha. Yeah, everything. It doesn't do a whole bunch of stuff, but it's very polished and complete. 4v4 game.
Yeah,
Yes.
somebody says there are still games even if they're not for me. No one said there wasn't. But I am allowed to say, hey, I'm not super excited for any of those except for Ori and Halo. And that's in terms of first party. So, you know, but then again, there's a reason you got more hype for, bigger games than some of the smaller ones. You're into whatever you want. Wilmy Hood's over here doing some weird how's it going type shit in the chat. Shout out to Wilmy.
Hey, I was just putting up a picture of Zonker, dude. That's all. That's
Oh
it.
man. Zaka, you let yourself
fine
go.
Specimen. Talk about a unit.
Hey, you know what is happening, Wilmy Hood? We got Doom Eternal targeting the Xbox Series X and PS5. They're going big. They want to be one of the best looking games you've seen on next gen consoles this fall. Keep in mind, this game comes out next month. I just got the Deluxe Edition, which has a copy of Doom 64. And I was talking to KY Bob about that. Doom 64 and some skins, and I don't think people realize how big Doom is, man. Wilmy, you've got a spaceship. You can upgrade it. You can unlock parts of it throughout the campaign. I mean, what's going on here?
Every time I think about this game, my nipples get rock
You
hard.
sound like you just had a stroke. I mean, yeah, you got to be
Hey, this
hyped.
is the
I did.
family show. Family
But
show.
I do want to warn people: if you pre-ordered,
Family nipples.
if you reordered the collector's edition on Amazon, please go and check your order. I've had 2 of the collector's editions pre-ordered for 7 months, and all of a sudden they decided to cancel both my pre-orders and did not even notify me until yesterday.
I think that's because it got delayed.
No, these were after the delay.
What the
I
hell?
pre-ordered them again, and they canceled them yesterday with no notice, no email, no nothing.
That
So
is not cool.
Finish him.
yeah, if you've got that pre-ordered through Amazon, double check your orders and make sure you still got it coming.
Now Fonz is a fraud, and he hates Doom in every way, and he says it's the worst game ever made. So
How can
Yeah,
you hate
right.
Doom?
I ever say that?
Oh my god, that's like
No,
that's
no.
unethical, man. You
Don,
might as well
Fonz,
be
you're looking forward to Doom, right?
Definitely, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm playing through Doom 2016 right now. I was just playing it before the show.
It looks
Yeah.
so good on the X, huh?
Oh, it looks really good. No, you know what's great about it is the way it feels. It's just so buttery smooth. Now you want to talk sexy? That
All right.
game is sexy. Man.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Are we talking about nipples
let's
again?
keep you away from electronics for now on. But yeah, I hear you.
It's a family show, so I'll keep it to that.
Is it?
No, somebody said Doom is another pew pew game.
Oh my god.
Oh,
You know what? That was one of my biggest gaming sins was passing on Doom
There's nothing worse than
2016 for 2
mindlessly
years.
Shooting demons. That's the best.
Top Dog
Best
doesn't
thing
count.
ever.
He's a spooge demon.
Top Dog. Top Dog said Forza 7's a DLC, but then looked at GT Sport and they removed 1,200 cars and said, this is a brand new great experience.
Hey, that was pretty cool that in GT Sport how the road rotates under your car instead of having the car turn. I like that.
Yeah, I play it every now and then when I want to live in some alternate reality physics. Sorry, but Polyphony, I don't think they're good at racing games, man. I used to love GT4 when there was no Forza Motorsport as competition on console. Like, I thought Gran Turismo Gran Turismo was it, but then I played Forza and I said, holy fuck, physics.
Yeah.
So, you know,
What is it good for?
what is it good for? I guess helping stop and turn and shit, and the cars actually have weight to them and whatnot. So, I mean, Doom Eternal, man, I'm hyped for the game. It comes out next month. It's been since Jedi Fallen Order, since we've had a bigger game. and Doom is the next one, I think, and then it's Resident Evil 3, right?
I don't know, man. Doom is so huge. I'll get around to Resident Evil at some point.
What do you mean? It's gonna be like 15 to 20 hours. When you'll manage.
No,
When you're done trying to hook your VR up to your Xbox to play it, you'll be like, "Fuck, it ain't working." Then you'll finally beat the game.
That's what my PC is for. Remember?
You're gonna play it on PC?
Yeah, I've got it on both already, dude.
Ah,
I'm waiting.
you said, "Fuck it, I'm doing both." All right.
Oh hell yeah, man!
I mean, hey, the game looks amazing, man, and I'm sure you're gonna give away some copies.
There's a lot of haters for Doom in the chat.
I know.
It's weird to me because it's such a satisfying shooter.
Guys, it's in Game Pass.
You hate Doom.
Hey, shout out to Titan Drago as well. Titan Drago popped his head out of the hole. Where have you been, Titan? Clipping clays forever. Tripping clays forever. We miss Titan Drago, but he doesn't talk to us anymore. It's depressing.
Actually, got your ass knocked off the train in the game. Fuck
Titan and I were playing Call of Duty together the other night. We had a blast.
I know. He just doesn't play games with us, man. I wrote him 3 letters. They were sent to him by horseback. He just hasn't replied. I don't know.
You got to send them by pigeon, man.
Oh, fuck.
Dealer Top Dog says that Forza is a bumper car.
Why would you send them letters?
Forza, let's use your own logic against you, is 10 points higher on Metacritic. How about that? So we're going to go ahead and claim Forza as the racing king, because it is, and Forza 8 is going to do some cool shit. And we're going to go ahead and move past Doom, which if you have a problem with Doom, honestly, try it. It's in Game Pass. It's enhanced. It's one of the best looking games still. And, just play the game, man. Put it on easy if you're not good enough. That's fine, too. We've also got a leak that I want to start with Tim Dog on via 4chan. And because all these outlets need something to write about, they are pushing this bullshit.
Dog's not here.
And Tim Dog bailed?
He had to go.
Fucking fuck.
Can you say goodbye?
Well, you know what? Shout out to Tim Dog. We're going to go ahead. Well, I'll throw it to me then. How about that? There's a PlayStation 5 leak from a game tester. Final development kits are in, according to this guy, and there's a lot of problems with this leak, including multiple different types of system RAM and large quantities. We know that for that price, they're not really doing any of this shit. So 500 gig SSD and all this stuff. Yeah, like Colt said earlier, enjoy putting your 2 games on the console. You know, there are multiple issues with this. And the biggest issue is the fact that a lot of these media sites, remember, articles are just articles. I could start a website tomorrow and write a story about how I like turtles. Guess what? It's still just an article. It's the same as a YouTube video. It's the same as a tweet. It doesn't matter. So a lot of these sites, they're running with it. And I know some sites went and shit on it and crushed it. I get that. Shout out to those guys. But at the same time, you can't just read headlines and assume everything like a lot of people have. This is fake. The new 4chan 12 teraflop PS5 is fake. It's half of these specs don't even make sense for what they've even said themselves. And at the end of the day, anybody got anything to say on the 4chan PS5 leak? Because we get sent every one of these leaks, and it gets annoying.
Yeah. Actually, could it be like some rapid pack math or something?
Some Cerny method?
No, most of it's based off of an insider who said that the PS5 is 15% more powerful than the Xbox Series X, which doesn't line up with anything in reality of what we've been hearing for a year. And so it looks like this person just did some math and gave the PS5 a 15% advantage across many of the specs, which is why it says it has a mix of GDDR or DDR4 and GDDR6 memory. Like, it's just really wacky, and Dealer knows more about like what they listed there, but just looks like a pipe dream.
It is.
I'm not even as frustrated
embarrassing.
by the pipe dream. I'm more frustrated by the countless websites that will. Yeah. I could have covered this leak. And that video would have done phenomenally well. But guess what? I didn't, because, I mean, I guess I could have covered it and shit on it. Maybe I can do that more. But at the end of the day, like, these guys, it's about revenue right now, and that's what they're trying to get with these articles.
That's not the content that you do, and that's not the content that people come to your channel to watch. You crap on some website who's just throwing out.
But at the end of the day, I might fucking do it anyway.
This is how we know that this fake is leaked, though. Minus the 500 gigabyte hard drive. Like, come on, what are we doing here, for starters? But we already know basically how many CUs are inside the PlayStation 5. Now, I don't care if people want to believe it or not. That GitHub leak was fucking real. It was the PlayStation 5.
Oh, shit.
Now they have it clocked at 2 gigahertz. Now, I was always skeptical, and Dealers the same on the 2 gigahertz clock, because it's just not stable within a console. Now I'm kind of
maybe they'll get kind of closer to it.
Yeah. Now I'm backtracking off of that based off of the based off the Bloomberg report stating that they're spending more money. I guess they're spending up to 3 times more money than usual on their cooling for the PlayStation 5. So maybe that's the reason why they're doing it. Now, the reason why they would clock it so high in the first place is because they're trying to close the gap or the deficit that they have between them and the Xbox Series X. So it just doesn't make sense. Now, the 36 CUs, like, there's only so much you could clock that GPU to get to 12 teraflops, and it's not going to happen with 36 CUs. Now, let's say they unlock 2 more CUs, because I'm hearing that the full chip is 40 CUs. Say they have a really good manufacturing process and they don't really have a lot of duds on it, and they can just disable 2 CUs instead of 4 CUs. That still wouldn't get them to 12 teraflops. That might get them to about maybe 10 teraflops with all the overall tweaks. That's still nowhere near the 12.6 that this article has written it up. And once again, like I said before, don't trust 4chan. I learned that lesson the hard way.
The 4K switch dock.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Like, you gotta, like, the leak that dealer got, you know, he hasn't revealed his sources, but I trust him. And his leak was also verified by Digital Foundry, by Windows Central, Jazz. Like, a lot of people verified that leak. And Phil Spencer came out and gave hints saying, you know, the Xbox Series X is going to have 2 times the GPU power of the Xbox One X and over 8 times the power of the regular Xbox One, or whatever he said. And if you do all the math together, you get pretty much 12. So there's a lot of credibility to that leak. Now, this leak is just bullshit. Every week it's a new leak. 12 teraflops, 14 teraflops, 18 teraflops. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, there was even a dual GPU fucking, oh my God.
Now, wait a minute. Didn't iFunny just release actual footage of the retail version an hour ago?
Did they? Wilmy, what do you know? Tell us your sources.
Well,
What's
I
your
mean,
source?
iFunny, dude. I mean, hey, if 4chan can do it, why can't they do it? Right?
Just Wilmy Chan.
Hey, David Robinson, real quick. He brings up something that we were talking about on Xbox. He says, "Zero Dealer, do you feel like talking about the Sony PlayStation ad? And is there a 5th time I did this? I wouldn't go through." Okay, I don't know. Maybe it was messing up, buddy. Yeah, there was a PlayStation ad. Power Your Dream. What was it called? Power something. Power heart disease or something, where basically these soldiers went down into a sewer and it was a bunch of PlayStation logos and they were powered by a bunch of human hearts beating. I thought this was the weirdest, most stupid ad, and Sony usually do a good job on advertising. Their marketing department is top notch, but this was fucking stupid. Like Colt, did you see this?
It looked interesting though.
Well, I thought the first thing I thought was like, oh, this is their announcement that they're going cloud streaming. Like, this is their Azure partnership, because it looked like a network of PlayStations connected underground. So everyone
but with
play.
human hearts, maybe Azure's powered by human hearts. I mean,
I don't know.
Confirmed slavery. What?
Did you see this, Zalker?
No, I didn't see this.
Watch this on mute. Watch this on mute and skip to the part where, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, skip to the last like 20 seconds.
It's like a Sony. Somebody in the chat link it, will you? Does the PlayStation advertisement where it's got the hearts powering? Well,
it's time to play. I think is their
feel the power of PlayStation.
Yeah. I thought it was a preview for an upcoming game or something at first when I watched it.
Yeah, I don't. Just skip to the ads.
Was that the Super Bowl weekend they showed that or something?
No, they showed it like 4 days ago or 3 days ago.
Yeah, I did see it. They go into the room downstairs. It's like
and of course, everyone in the comment section on YouTube is like, "Where's the PS5?" Because Sony will not talk about the PS5, but they'll talk about a bunch of beating hearts in a sewer.
But now, wait a minute. To play devil's advocate, is it the fact that Sony is really holding out, or is it the simple fact that Xbox shown so early this gen?
No, Sony, we know this firsthand, and this is like some behind the scenes stuff from people pretty much directly involved with it. They know Sony are waiting on them, and they know that Sony are definitely in a watching state. They are waiting on Microsoft to reveal more information. And the reason that I have kind of speculated is because they know Microsoft. It's like kind of like the PS4 Pro. If you think back, PS4 Pro, they knew that Xbox was more powerful. The 6 teraflop thing was out there. Microsoft actually, it was rumored even back then that Microsoft scared them away from announcing PS4 Pro at that year's E3. That year's E3, they did not even announce the PS4 Pro. They waited till September to even have an event for the PS4 Pro where they all looked very, very not enthused because of how powerful the Xbox One X was. I picked up on that vibe. I don't know if any of you watched it recently, but I did. That's what it felt like. And this reminds me a little bit of that, where they're not saying anything until they have to. And then, that's because they know they don't really have any of the power stuff on their side.
Can I just say that I just watched that commercial? What the flying fuck? Stupid shit is that? And second of all, can I just say that they're holding back human hearts by putting the Pro instead of the X on there, according to people?
Oh, man.
I feel bad.
It's obvious to me they're going to have a heart rate sensor on that thing. So,
Oh,
that's
God.
what it's telling you.
But this was all in perspective. This commercial is all about PS4. Like it was a push for PS4, not for PlayStation, and not for PS5.
Hey, Sovereign Cog, but I'm not gonna repeat it, man. Just let people do what they do. And a lot of people have been so wrong. They've had things written about them and all this stuff, and we'll just let the final stuff come out, and we're gonna learn a lot of who's accurate and who's not. And like I said, according to what I know from the people that I know and we've been talking to, we're pretty sure we know what's in the Series X, and they know that they're more powerful than the PS5. Therefore, we run with they are more powerful than the PS5. So, hey, again, we got to give a shout out to over 1,400 people watching live, guys. If you haven't hit that like button, let's get up to over 600 watching live. Hang on a second, God damn it! And of course, retweet that shit if you haven't. We do appreciate it. It's my fuckface panel keep trying to talk over me. Thank you guys for watching the show. So,
quit boosting your channel. Hey, hey, dealer, do you have, and I don't want to forget this because a couple people have asked in the chat, do you have in your topics list, do you have in your topics list Ed Boon's Twitter poll?
No, go ahead and talk about that.
Okay.
Anyway, enough of Cold Eastwood. Let's go ahead and... Hey, I do want to give a shout out real quick. Owen in the super chat says, Azure is the Matrix. Thank you so much. They're filming the new Matrix movie, by the way, right now.
In San Francisco. Fuck yeah.
John Wick and the Matrix going to come out the same year. Damn.
How slow is he going to move in this movie?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. Maybe he'll do a scene where he spends 4 minutes building one gun with one bullet and then he runs off. Colt, what about this poll from Who Is It and what do they make?
Ed Boon on Twitter, he makes Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Wombat.
He asked, he did a poll that said, quote, next gen consoles, what's the most important thing for you? He had 50,000 votes. He said 50,000 of you have spoken, and price seems to be the most important factor for next gen consoles. I'd have guessed exclusive games would be higher than 13%. So he has the options are affordable price, better graphics, exclusive games, and back and pat. Affordable price won out at 37.5%, and exclusive games only got 13.2% of the votes of 50,000 people who voted. Very, very interesting thing that went down today about 2 or 3 hours ago.
What was in second, though?
The second most popular was
Power, I thought.
Back and Pat.
Oh, back and pat.
Oh, really? That's
it's almost like nobody on Twitter from our community is actually taken seriously, and the overall gamer want value, and they want their software to be compatible. Kind of odd.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny that a little over 80% of the people did not vote for exclusive games, and I've been telling people for 3 years that over 80% of console gamers don't buy the big exclusives, or they don't catch all of the sales. They get 20% of the sales, 10% of the sales. If you're on Xbox, they get 2%. I'd be facetious, but yeah, it was a crazy poll. It's only 50,000 people. Polls on the internet are really skewed, but it kind of gives you an insight of stuff that kind of lines up with stuff we've been talking about for a long time.
So that Lockhart, as somebody graciously says in the chat, and some people still don't think it's real, but we know for a fact it's real. I heard something recently, like I said earlier. It's definitely a thing, and again, I said it at the end of the last video, but you might be able to, you might hear some bad things about it because they're going to be comparing it to the Series X and the PS5. But keep in mind that, this thing is meant to be as cheap as possible. It is the new generation Xbox One S, and they will phase out the S and the X, just like they did the original Xbox in 2016. And you'll still be able to play games on those older consoles, like Halo Infinite. In 2020, you can play it on the 2013 Xbox One that hasn't been in production for 4 years now. that's how it will work. But they're going to phase those out. The Lockhart will come in, and they're going to have, I don't know, like I'd like to know if that thing has the virtual memory pool as well, and the SSD and all that stuff, just like the Series X, or if they're still sticking with SSD, or if they wanted to get it cheaper. I don't know what they're doing there.
I would think it would have all the same features. I think it would have the SSD. From the leaks, it pretty much says it's going to have ray tracing as well. I just think it's just everything's just going to be done at a lesser level. So I think it's just basically the CPU will be a little bit less, and the GPU is going to be less.
It's crazy though, is that CPU would still just destroy every modern console, pretty much combined though. Even on the Lockhart.
And to be fair, like I don't know what they were thinking when they launched this generation with the Jaguars. Those CPUs are just
hell. That's
awful.
where AMD was back then, man. We watched it. We watched them rise up out of the dog shit sewer and come into the Ryzen age. So I mean, I used to be Intel, Nvidia, and swap back and forth between the two, and AMD have come a long way, man.
Hey, Dealer, here's a question from the chat that we get a lot, actually. It's, will the Lockhart be better than the 1X?
Yes, and the reason we don't always answer that is because we have answered that a million times. With the 4 teraflop Navi, plan on it being about the same power as the Xbox One X on GCN. The architectures don't work the same way. Way better CPU, faster memory, not necessarily more memory than the X, or even the same, keep that in mind, but it's a base model console that's going to be $250 to $300, and that's its point. That's why it exists, right? Whereas the Series X will be a couple $100 more, and it's the same fucking shit we got today. What won Black Friday? The Xbox One S, right? That that's all about that price factor, getting games out there, getting consoles out there for people to buy games on.
And on the PC as well, like it's the 2080 Ti's and the 2080s. Those aren't the top sellers. It's the 1070s. It's the 1660 Ti's. It's the lower end cards that sell the most. Most gamers on PC, they all want to tell, oh, I got a 4K rig. I play at PSVNs. They all got 1080p fucking monitors, and they play at 1080p. I would say 80% before. I think some people are switching over, but at least 70% to 75% of PC gamers are playing at 1080p, man.
Yeah, talk that shit, D.
And you don't need as much RAM and stuff either if you're targeting, because I've always said this would be a monster 1080p 60 FPS console, right? So you don't need as much RAM if you're not targeting 4K at 30 frames per second. You don't need those high-res textures, or even that frame buffer is not going to take up all that RAM either. And we don't know about the virtual memory pool either. And if they're using that, they're not really limited to something like 8 gigs or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the Lockhart, you may see less pixels in certain situations where the X might have more, but everything else on your screen is going to be better. Performance, like Dealer said, textures, physics.
Well, textures,
everything.
Well, there's actually a new technology Microsoft are bringing to gaming. I'm going to cover that soon.
Yeah,
but,
it'll be cache a lot more. Like everything's going to be better.
AI textures?
They're doing so much cool stuff. Like, and physics are going to be huge. Like, that's something that we've been talking about for a long time. It's going to be awesome. Let's go ahead and check where the fuck we are on these damn topics. The 4chan leak, it's all bullshit. Just because you see an article on something, for one, don't just read the headline. That's how they got Matt Booty with his, hey, we're actually supporting the original Xbox One for a year or two. That's how they got him there. That's how they got Phil with the, we're not competing with PlayStation. That's how they get pretty much all this stuff. It's all the headline bullshit. GameSpot did an article where they're saying, what were they saying? They were doing something. They're being bold to compete with PlayStation. Phil didn't even mention the PlayStation in that article. GameSpot put PlayStation in there. So you guys just be sure you read the articles, not just the headline. And secondly, just because there's an article, it's no different than some fuckface pulling out his phone and recording a FaceTime video and putting it on YouTube. It's just in word form. Now check their credibility and stuff like that.
Dealer, you know how many times I've seen people post things on Twitter about an article, and they even post the article, and then I read it, and I'm like,
this ain't even what it fucking says, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It happens all the time. Like,
I remember people were doing that with Halo Infinite. They're like, see, they're not even doing anything special with Infinite on the Series X. And then we're like, did you read it? And it says they're literally getting like a shit ton out of the Series X, and they're treating it as a special citizen, right? Like,
I'll be honest. I'm surprised some of these people can even write. So
I'll get clowns I'll do a video all about the power of the Xbox X and the Lockhart and how they're going to do things for next generation. And some clown will comment, "Too bad it won't have exclusives for 2 years." Like this is the mentality of people. They can read a big fat headline on comicbook.com or whatever. They'll never read the article where Matt Booty said something about, like you just said, about Halo Infinite. Just the next line underneath, like literally like 2 characters away, he said, that you'll get the full treatment of Halo Infinite on the Xbox Series X. Like, people are absolute.
Now, Spider-Man says the X does 4K 60 FPS. There are very few games that actually do that, especially in the AAA space. So just count on anything the X can do, the Lockhart should be able to do as well or close to, but it's going to be cheaper. I mean, it is what it is. The X is not going to be made anymore. What are you going to do, right? So either get the Series X and get your fucking mind blown, or get the Lockhart and be like, wow, I can't believe the games look this good on such a cheap console. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even Gears 5, that game really runs at what I pretty much said it would run at, around 1440p 60 FPS, but it checkerboards it up to 4K, and it'll hit native at times in certain spots. But, I mean, all in all, look at similar GPU performance and much better CPU, stuff like that. That's all there is for the Lockhart. But, yeah, Colt, you're right. Headlines are what they are, and, you know, just be careful out there. PS5 Bloomberg report. I just covered this in my last video, and there is Richard just covered his Digital Foundry just went over today too, and he pretty much was saying we all pretty much did, which really I didn't even know, but I mean, hey, it's not a coincidence. Everyone's releasing videos on the same damn day, I guess.
Yep.
None of the stuff is confirmed, by the way. So Bloomberg with their $450 thing, not confirmed officially. Keep that in mind. This is all, you just need to take it for what it is. But apparently the build cost for PS5 is up around $450 right now. The cooler is a big reason for why they are struggling to rein in their prices. As Richard from Digital Foundry said today, a few bucks might be a little too low. We don't know exactly, but basically, all in all, it comes out to be the same thing. Maybe the cooler costs $5 or $6 a unit, or maybe more. And
that's a lot.
They're trying to rein that in compared to what would usually be a little less. So the cooler is a big reason for that. We'll come back to that, D. The CFO talks about keeping the PS5 price under control. They need to build the right amount of units in the initial run. So the more millions of those you build in the first run, the 50 cents or more, whatever you can get off each one, overall saving millions of dollars. Build 5 million, you save $2.5 million on that 5 million if you get 50 cents off the price of each one, right? Digital Foundry did go over that and did cover it. And just so you know, Digital Foundry, even though they were one of the last ones to come to the 12 teraflop conclusion, keep that in mind. I think I came up with that video on December 9th at 9 a.m. or some shit. Digital Foundry, like a week later, maybe, I don't know, a week later, finally ended up talking about how they think it might actually be 12, and that's what they were hearing as well. They are still saying that PS5 is most likely 9.2 teraflops. Keep that in mind. Something you should really keep in mind. And the reason that is because they are using 36 compute units, according to the GitHub leaks. And the cooler D-batch, as I covered in my last video, as you covered, it's on there, and it's so expensive because they're having to clock this damn thing so high to compete with what Series X might be. And to top it all off, the reason that they're trying to get their prices back down is because what they initially shot for was $399. Their prices have become a little bit out of control, according to their CFO. They have to build more of them. They have to get their prices back down, is what he's saying, because their target was never $500. Their target was $400. And Microsoft know that. And the reason they're not announcing anything is because Microsoft are not telling them if they're hitting $500 or $600 with the Series X yet. So Sony have to wait. If they hit $600 with the Series X, they have a little bit more overhead, a little bit more room to wiggle with the PS5. If they come in at $500 for the Series X, then Sony will be forced to either find a way to get their costs down lower or take a slight loss. That $50 might be exaggerated. We don't know. It could be $20. It could be $12. Again, that's not confirmed. But again, it all lines up with the frequency, the high frequency, a lot of heat, a lot of power coming through there. They need a higher end cooler to keep that under control.
Yeah. Now, the first thing that came to my mind, and I just have to talk myself out of it, is liquid cooling, because that's the only thing that I could think of that would raise the cost on the PlayStation 5 significantly and also really guarantee a stable 2 gigahertz clock under GPU. And I just frankly don't see that inside of a console. So what are they doing to spend so much more money on the cooling for their system? Like, it's not just fans alone. It's not as simple.
Every PS5 comes with a lifetime supply of bags of ice.
Like, can you sustain water in a console for 6 years?
Well, it's never been done. It's never been done. That's why I frankly just don't see it happening. I guess you could, because you have those all-in-one coolers on the PC that you never change, and they constantly have the water inside of it. So in theory, I guess they could, but it would be expensive. And once again, if that were to be the case, which I don't think it is, that'd be a huge blunder on Sony's part, and of them choosing a weaker.
Did you
GPU.
see that document? Apparently, because we've seen the dev kits from certain studios, they're out there, right? And they were talking about how loud the damn PS5 dev kits are. Even by the way, we got Ricari Austin's in the chat. We want to have you back on the show, man. You're one of the best guests ever. So I might hit you up soon, man. Have you back on the show.
And the dev kits have so much ventilation in it too. So how is it still loud? Because like if you look at the dev kit, it's like someone just like slice it apart. Like the whole top level is pretty much just vents, and it's still loud at that point. So I don't know what they're doing here. I can say one thing for certain, and this is why I know the 4chan leak is fake, is that they're definitely less powerful. If you're more powerful, or you believe you're more powerful, you're not worried about what your competitor is going to price, because you can just undercut them if they're going to have less power.
This is why Xbox and Phil have already said it. We think we're the most powerful, blah, 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 blah. Because they're confident.
So, I'm just curious to see what cooling solution that they're using, because that report, like you said, it's not verified, but according to that report, it's at least 3 times more than usual. Now, Richard Ledbetter said that it could be up to like $6, I believe he said in that video, which would be even more times expensive than in a traditional console. And it's pretty sad that in order to achieve high clocks, that they have to
all right,
find adequate cooling like that. I don't want to see an episode.
And there goes Dave.
The most talented. Yeah, D's having some.
Decepticons attack.
D's turning into a Decepticon live on air.
You can find the rest of what he said on D-Chan.
DJ.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Gotham guy says dealer should.
I hope Oni has learned from Mark. Don't try to.
D, are you radioing in from 1984? Can you hear us? Hey, you're breaking up bad, man.
The bottom line is that I just hope that the PlayStation 5 is quiet and cool and not loud like the PlayStation 4 Pro. And I hope they don't have an episode like Microsoft suffered with the 360.
Yeah.
So let's see what they do with their cooling.
That would be unfortunate. Gotham guy says dealer should Lockhart still have the disc drive for people to have an easy entry into the next gen, but also use their physical games. I'm not sure, man. Like I said, they might ditch the thing to get rid of. That could have just been the dev kits that didn't have the disc drive from what those developers were talking about. But
if leaving out a $25 UHD drive means that the Lockhart's going to be $300, I don't want it to have a disc drive, because I think that'll be really cool. Like a $300 next generation console, a lot of people would want that thing.
Yeah, I mean the 360 was $300 originally, right? Like it's not unheard of or anything. It's I don't know. It's very capable for what it is, and I think developers are just going to shit on it because they're used to the Series X, right, and the PS5. Yeah. And I think they're gonna talk negatively about some of the limitations that I've heard about recently. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a great entry model.
I'll say this, dealer, if it can achieve 1080p, 60 frames per second, maybe a little bit higher, who knows, but at least 60 frames per second, ultra graphics at $300, and it's got an SSD, it does ray tracing, I think it's a win.
And it would cost them absolutely nothing to have a third console, like an all digital next generation as well. And I mean, that's a far fetch from what we've been talking about for over a year. But I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't cost them anything to have another plastic case that doesn't have that slot for the disk drive.
That, or maybe have a disk drive, like let people use external disk drives. Fuck it. I don't know. Like, if you got to, like, hey, have a little accessory, like an external Blu-ray
Sony
drive.
CD player.
A little external Walkman you can hook up to that bitch. I don't know. Fucking, I don't know, man. I get what he's saying. Like, he wants to bring his games forward physically, but at the end of the day, like, if that keeps them from being at their target and it's a games first machine, is what Phil said, then, they're kind of rolling with it. And I guess we'll have to see what the hell they're doing with, but maybe an external Walkman, hey, not a bad idea.
That's the craziest thing you've ever said.
I don't know. I'm just fucking around. Hey, we got to give a shout out to
360.
Yeah. We got to give a shout out to 1,500 people watching this live, by the way. 1,500 of you rocking out with us tonight. Thank you so much for what you do. Hit that like button if you haven't. Share it with a buddy or two. Make sure your grandma watches the show. We're trying to get more elderly into the game. All right, we're trying to spread the word. All right.
Colt and I are already here.
Yeah, that's true. They are, and they're both wearing dresses. What were you saying, Wilmy?
I tried that, and they ran me off from the cemetery. They wanted to know why I was bringing a laptop to my grandmother's gravesite.
Yeah, he's doing something else to some corpses at the cemetery.
This just in, Wilmy boosts his channel numbers by going to graveyards.
I'm not sure that's
your YouTube address?
that's not a tactic that actually works. So yeah, I mean, Bloomberg report, interesting. Like I said, I did a video on it. Colt did a video on it. Zalker probably did one on it, right, with the backwards controller. And D-Batch did one on it. And Fonz did one on it. And everyone did one on it. And check out Zalker's. Give it a dislike.
You know what was funny? When I watched, everyone did a good job on their videos, first of all. But it was funny. All of us talked about different aspects of that. It was all a different take on it.
Yep.
And I thought it was an excellent job by the whole crew.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. It was really good. Everybody had different takes. It was awesome.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we didn't even
I
know
do
what
love that.
angle we were taking either. We didn't
We didn't
talk
even know
about
we were all gonna do it.
I made that video on, I think I made that video on Thursday or Friday, but I was out of town all weekend. So I was like, I'll just release it on Monday like I normally do. And I know everyone else kind of had their stuff set up too.
See, that's a big deal to me. Like what D and Fonz just said. Like, I think that's really cool because I approach like the market of how they're going to approach this with the price and stuff. And I didn't even know, like, dealer explained to me right before I was going to put mine out the next day, like he's going to cover the back compat and the cooling and all this stuff. Like, he's got a different approach. I just love that, like, the people that say they watch our videos, like, they get something from dealer's video. They get something from mine. They get something from D-Batch. They get something from Fonz. And sometimes they watch Soccer's video. It's great.
You know what? You know what's not great though? You know what's not great? And I'll say this. Is we love the fact that people check out the videos and support it like they. We're so thankful and lucky,
really
and again, we've worked for a long time to get to this point, and you guys power everything that we do, and it helps. But when we get someone that's like, I'm a big fan, and I love the videos, but did you hear about this? And I'm like, yeah, I talked about that in a video yesterday or the day before, or the day before. Like, that's the thing. Like, you can always tell who really watches this stuff when they message you. So again, if you guys do check everything out and stuff, we do appreciate it. Hector. He says Microsoft need the Lockhart to replace the xCloud server blades. That's actually 100% true. That's something else that we had heard that we didn't talk about yet, which is common sense. They had talked about the Anaconda server blades being a thing for xCloud, but they are not replacing the Xbox One S with Anaconda yet. They're replacing them with Lockhart due to the fact that streaming isn't ready to catch up to what Anaconda is capable of. So 4K 60 FPS, all that stuff. You'll see similar effects on Lockhart just at a quarter of the resolution at 1080p a lot of the time. So they're going to replace the Xbox One S with Lockhart blades first, and then in several years after that, you'll eventually get the Anaconda versions or whatever they're doing then. But until streaming and people's infrastructure gets up, it's not ready to compete with the Anaconda in terms of fidelity and all that stuff. 120 frames on some games here and there, stuff like that.
You won't need that high end on streaming, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Hector, you're 100% right. They will replace the S with the Lockhart and the server blades. That is absolutely true. Philly Eagle says, shout out to all of the... shout out to... Here goes Savage Mode again. Shout out to all the clowns that say, with no games to play, so they troll podcasts for ecosystems they don't support. Losers get a life. Better yet, get games.
Yeah. Isn't that funny, right?
Well, right
like
now,
that point
Philly,
you
they're
bring
building
up.
games in Dream because, of course, that's not like a game. You have to build your own game to play a game in that game, right? So,
But if you have dreams, you can build your own PlayStation 5 announcement.
Oh.
Can you
I
build your
didn't think
PS5 logo, though, Woomy?
You can. It's just
Really?
a matter of minutes.
Can
Yes,
you
sir.
build it? But if it runs on the PS4, it's going to hold back the PS5 version of the logo,
It
right?
will hold back the PS5.
God damn
It
it.
has been confirmed by 4chan.
That is
Jim
fucking...
Ryan, what are your plans with the PS5? No, we want to know what you guys plan to do. Like, what games do you have coming up?
It starts that like the feature from the Peanuts
Sounds like
cartoons.
a fucking character from The Sims.
Holly Waffle.
Yes, it's a Phillips Gerald.
All right.
I'm on fucking fire.
That's fucking Assassin's Creed.
That's something that's often repeated in Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, just some random NPC will be like over there, like making a pot. Yes, it's a Phillips Gerald. You hear it so much, I memorized it.
Hey, Chris, God damn it. Chris Jorgensen. He says, do you think Microsoft will do an event before E3 or just wait? Yes, I do think they'll do an event before E3. And by the way, We're over halfway through February. Still no PS5 Reveal Event like all these frauds were saying. Their sources were telling them. And if
that article kind of
February
hint
31st, bro. Don't talk shit.
If you remember, RDX, we were the first ones saying we're hearing there is no reveal event in February. That's on Twitter, by the way. You can look that up if you doubt me. So, again, we're just building a little bit more. Just building that foundation a little bit more. Who's got that track record? I don't know. It's definitely not the people saying that they were having a damn reveal event in February, Zalker.
Nope, man. Everybody, honestly, that came up so many times.
Look at this bitch ass frog
"What do you
trying to
think
eat me."
they're gonna reveal?" That's frog about to fuck you. Oh, you just killed it.
All right.
That's a really ugly frog.
Hey, leave the frog
Who's to
alone.
say it
He was a
isn't
good frog.
coming up at the end.
Leave him alone.
Because they need
Ass,
2 weeks
dude.
at the very least for travel, like to even announce that. They need at least 2 weeks to get all the media stuff.
Son of a bitch. All right.
Fucking
So,
creepy ass cackle in the back.
If it is happening, I mean, hell, I'll say it again on, fucking March 1st then, okay? But right now, it ain't. If for one, the insiders, quote unquote, said February 5th. So that's gone. And then now they're starting to move it. So they weren't moving it anywhere until it didn't happen when they said it was going to happen. So obviously, things are a little off
I honestly thought it was going to be like the 25th or something, or towards the end of the
Fonz
month.
is like holding in. He's on 4chan. It's going to happen on the 25th. I just heard.
No. See, I'm not one of those guys who's running around saying I had sources. It's coming. It's got a fat pipe. None of that.
Oh,
I didn't
shit.
say any of that.
A fat pipe.
Well, it could still have a fat pipe, Fonz.
Yeah, I know.
I'll go on record and say it's going to come with a controller.
Kentucky Bob, let
Ooh.
us know what you think in the chat, man.
Yeah.
He says, great
Shout out
voice
to
dealer.
KY Bob.
Yeah, it's also funny that for a longest time they're like, Xbox are waiting for E3. Well, guess who's waiting for E3 right now? Sony. Sony's waiting for E3 because that's when Microsoft will announce the price.
And
Are there really
proxy,
people giving
so are the
people on
Sony
Xbox
fans.
shit for anything about waiting when these guys are begging for PS5 information?
Oh man,
Begging.
What's that
At this
commercial with all
point,
the
at this
hearts?
point,
Where's
there's
my
no
PS5?
begging. There's no
We know
begging. They're
Jeff.
just sitting there waiting, dude. Honestly, they're just like, fuck it. We don't even know what's happening. We're just gonna wait and wait and wait. And then Xbox is like, well, we're just gonna keep going doing this. Sony's like, well, fuck. What do we do now? It's
I don't
fucking
know.
weird, dude. It's
Versus
honestly weird.
unhappy, cranky fans. they
Why
make
is Womy
the
hit at the
worst
cemetery
situation.
with his pants off?
I don't know.
Oh,
Why is there- Never mind.
That went a
Yes,
completely
never mind.
direction, didn't it?
I've been getting
Ooh.
DMs from people like, is the Series X still more powerful? Like, they see all these articles, and because it's an article and a headline, it starts making them worry. Guys, like, again, as far as I know, Microsoft are extremely confident. They can't wait to reveal the specs. They're only not revealing the specs because they know it throws a wrench in Sony's plans. Sony can't reveal any information because they know they're less powerful. They won't talk about it. And on top of that, they still have the pricing variable. They don't know where Series X is coming in. So Microsoft know they hold the cards. Therefore, they are not saying anything. Believe it or not, to intentionally fuck with Sony a little bit. To boil it down is easily and most understandably as possible. As dumb as that sounds and as petty as that sounds, that's exactly what they're doing. I like
Because
turtles.
you have to be smart. You can't. Yeah, it's a delicate balance. You have to be really careful because it's like we just learned from Ed Boon's poll. If it means anything, power is a big deal, and if they screw up on power, it's going to cause a big rift across the whole generation, and they have to play catch up like the PS3 did. So you have to be really careful. You have to balance how much it costs.
What is this?
Dealers at a loss for words.
There's
No,
been so
I
many
was
articles,
reading
like,
No Russians comment.
PS5 is like the
What'd he
last
say?
console for Sony. There's been so much shit. Everybody at this point, it's like Sony's damaging themselves by not saying anything. Like, I just feel like people are just so fucking looking for anything to talk about Sony that they're just like, fuck it, we'll talk about
What
this.
the
and
heck?
this.
Hey, Blue Gecko, don't give up on us, okay? It's not that there's no positivity, okay?
So
Okay.
No Russian said Microsoft's waiting for Series X to get undercut hard. Not like Microsoft cares anyway. Phil doesn't care if anyone buys the box. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember what?
And
Yoshida
that's not
said
even his.
yesterday?
That's not even his quote. If you remember that,
No.
so that's just
No, it's
something that
actually
people have
Sony's.
fed you over time, and you literally have heard it so much that you forgot the actual quote.
Actually, I think he just heard it from Yoshida, and he just thought maybe Phil Spencer said it because Yoshida just said it like 3 days ago.
What do you say?
He said that when you're measuring the success of a console generation, you don't do it on hardware; you do it on active users. So. And by his definition, he would say that Phil Spencer and Yoshida think the box doesn't matter. the console doesn't matter, hardware doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, just don't say things like that. It's not smart.
Hey,
Confirmed
Top Dog
that
just
Vita
said
said it.
something in the chat. He says Dreams is not a game. Wow. I mean, I'm just impressed with Top Dog there. I mean, he came back with the bandages and shit around his head a couple weeks ago. And
on that, because Swans has been talking to me about this today.
is
Did you hear that, Fonz?
is Dreams a game? I don't know. I haven't seen any footage of it. I know it's reviewing
more
well.
of a toolkit, man. It's more of a toolkit. There is a game there. There's a base game, but it looks like a cartoony game that they make fun of on Xbox.
Yeah.
But as far as like the toolkit, and you can make things, you can make whatever you want. There has not been any game or anything that I've seen that people have made so far. And I've seen a lot of them because I was looking into buying this because I was like, maybe I'll make a game. Maybe I'll make some cool little thing, but I ain't got the time for it. It takes literal months.
Ain't nobody got
to
time
build
for that.
games.
Yeah,
And
maybe-
I just don't want to deal with that.
Maybe on the creation part, I can see that, but there's some really great creations. Not everything is cartoony inside of Dreams. There's some
Yeah.
No,
pretty cool.
you can
there's
make
some
cooler
pretty realistic
stuff.
things. The
But
best
let me
way
ask you something though. Have you seen anything that they've made that really makes you say, "Wow, I want to pay $40"?
Stop talking shit,
play that
Fonz.
5-minute demo or stare at a character model.
Well, I bought the
No.
game, and I'm be honest with you, I'm satisfied with it, and I have faith in the community that they're gonna create some fucking great shit. There's some good shit on there
And that
already.
could be.
I'll say this though: the best way to describe Dreams is like YouTube for gaming. So you type in the type of game that you're looking for, and you find it, and then you go play it. There's so many different.
But you got to wait 3 or 4 months until the guy makes level 2, right?
No, there's
Yeah,
some
pretty much.
there's some complete games on there, but I like once
That
again.
are 15 minutes long. Yeah, they're complete.
Oh,
but-
Fonz
but
is
once
talking
again-
shit.
But once
Because
again, you
I've
got the-
seen them.
once
You know-
again, you got the variety in there. I be honest with you, I rated an 8. I give it a good 8.5 out of 10. I think it's excellent.
D,
I
how
like
many
the
levels have you
I like-
built?
Well,
It doesn't
I'm not
matter.
building
Like,
levels,
I'm-
but I'm playing the shit that people have built, and even the initial like the game that Media Molecule has in there with the jazz singer. That fucking game is pretty well done, man.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the UMS maps on StarCraft where people can just create whatever they wanted and people would go play them, or like where MOBAs came from,
Okay.
right? On
Oh,
Warcraft
no.
3.
No.
Like
Hey,
that's
wait,
what it
we got to go
reminds me
back
of,
to
or
what D.
Minecraft.
We got to go back to what D just said about that jazz game. Do you see the graphics in that jazz game? That's the same stuff that the PlayStation guys are always harping on the Xbox games for. It looks cartoony.
Yeah, but
so,
I mean, PlayStation have
no,
more
don't even
realistic
start.
looking games overall,
Okay,
though.
to keep it real with the PlayStation guys, though, I'll say this: they're not really supporting the game. The game, it's not really. It's got critical acclaim, but it's not really selling. There's not a lot of people that actually bought the game. I think it's one of those games that more word of mouth will sell it. I didn't even really see Sony promoting the game too much.
And
it's
it's
a great
well
tool.
made. It's like it's a top product. Like it's really cool. And I consider myself very creative, but personally, I wouldn't sit down and make games. I don't sit down in Forza. I don't create liveries. I just
But
You don't
isn't it
sound very
amazing, though,
creative, Colt.
For those people out there that want to be amateur, like programmers or
videos, you'll know
whatever,
he's
and they
not.
want to start getting into that, it's a great toolkit to do so. And that is amazing about it.
Hey.
That's why I'm not shitting on Dreams itself, but I'm just saying that the little games and stuff that I've seen so far, it doesn't really interest
Well,
me.
Fonz, you know that we don't just sit here and
shit.
shit on games, especially ones we haven't played. We're not
No.
like a lot of the Sony podcasts out there.
No, but I do. But I do see that aspect of it, and I think as far as a toolkit, it's amazing what they've done as far as that goes.
God,
And
Fonz has
that's
so much
cool
to
for
say on
creative
this
people.
shit. I wish I could get this kind of energy from you and everything else, Fonzarelli.
Well, I like talking about games. I don't.
What about Dave?
All right,
I
let's talk
agree.
about Sea of Thieves, Fonz.
Yeah, crap.
I'm fucking ready.
Hey,
bitch.
Lone
Let's
Star.
do
Lone
it.
Star says it well. He says Dreams looks cool, and I'm sure it has its fans, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it has its fans. And Dreams and Lone Star and No Russia said satire, by the way. But yeah, these guys know, like, we don't just sit here and blindly shit on PS4 games and all that stuff. Like, we're excited for a lot of them. It is what it is. Also, Daniel, I don't know if you saw my Forza Motorsport 8 video, but yeah, there's I need club garages back. I need new upgrades. Forza's had the same upgrades since basically Forza 2 almost. I need more tuning options. I need more customization, more like Need for Speed, but realistic. I need wide bodies for way more cars, if not all. I need a standard Forza wide body for pretty much every car to get more rubber under the fucking, under the thing. So There's things I want to see. I want to see more tracks. I want Turn 10 to stop fucking putting the little dog shit club versions of tracks in the hoppers when you have 30 Grand Prix circuits that are amazing and you might see 4 of them in an hour. It's ridiculous. Like, there's a lot of little things Turn 10 could do, but in terms of the physics, and if you say it's got too much understeer or this or that or this or that, maybe turn off the assist, turn auto brake off, motherfucker, and you'll know how it really feels. But it feels great. Physics are the best, and really they just need some of those more simulation aspects. The reason they don't call it a sim isn't because of the physics. To me, it feels the best. I played them all. It's because it doesn't have qualifying. It's because the pits aren't really a factor in the races. It's because it's 3-lap races to meet the more mainstream kind of jump into a race, jump out. Like, Turn 10 have work to do. They need to get rid of the guy who's been doing the multiplayer, because that guy, after Forza 7's multiplayer, I mean, even then you got 10 seconds to choose a car and the fucking race starts. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of issues there, but in terms of handling and the things that I love about Forza, they're still there, and hopefully they're getting better. Anyway.
Dealer, let me ask you real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are you expecting out of the next Forza?
I am expecting a great-looking game that hopefully, brand new engine revamp and all that stuff, ray tracing, the works. But hey, let's get into Phil Spencer's final comments here. This will be our final topic. Shout out to everybody who joined us live. Over 1,500 people tonight. We do appreciate it. Hit that like button, share it out if you haven't. Thank you so much. You power the show. If you haven't become a channel, remember, hit that join button next to the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and of course, patrons down there if you want to support content on this channel. Thank you so much. We are talking about Phil Spencer and his recent comments, or more recent comments, about the Series X, saying, hey, we are doing so much more than just pushing more pixels to the screen. Combine this with other interviews. Colt, we both know you're basically getting higher end versions of PC games here.
Yeah, a high-end PC. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this, I mean, they're comparing it, the cards are comparing it to. Like, did Richard talk about what cards he's comparing the Series X to today in his video? What happened? Dealer died.
I went silent.
I don't think he, unless I missed that part, I don't think he really touched too much on.
I mean, he was showing some cards on screen. I watched half the video today at work. I couldn't really watch the whole thing, but yeah, that's what I've been telling people. Like, people ask me about the specs, and I would rather talk about what to expect for your eyeballs and how it's going to feel when you play the games. And that's why I'm telling people, like, expect dynamic 4K 60 with better physics and ray tracing on some games. Like, it's going to be amazing. And you've got super fast loading times on these consoles. That's going to be great.
I think I'll even take it a step further. I maybe some games will be 4K dynamic 4K 60, but I think the majority of games with the specifications that we know so far, 12 teraflops is more than enough to get 4K 60, to be honest with you, natively.
In some games, yeah. Completely agree.
Some games, yeah.
This is kind of what? I'm not reading this super chat. Jeez.
No, you can't read that one.
All right. Well,
he basically says if you tell a lie too many times, it becomes a truth, and that's kind of what some people do when they're talking about, specs or different things. Like,
yeah. Well, shout out to you, Sovereign. Sovereign, just know that we can't even say that damn word on YouTube. We'll get the people's elbow.
I'll say this on the leak specs. We kind of went through the same thing when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 was launching, except everything was reversed. We were hearing that the PlayStation 4 was more powerful than the Xbox One. And to be honest, a lot of Xbox guys were in denial and saying, no. And we had some pretty concrete leaks at that time. And I think the tables are reversed again, where once again, the Xbox Series X appears to be more powerful. And it's not like we don't have some hard evidence. Once again, that GitHub leak was a smoking gun, man.
Timothy Clark.
Yeah, Dealer did kind of go out for a vasectomy for a second.
Hey, there. Crypto. Shout out to Crypto, by the way.
Brian Harris in chat said, "So you mean the consoles are going to be worth the price for 500? Do tell." Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're wondering how this thing isn't going to be 600, but we're pretty sure it's going to be 5. So whether you pick the PS5 or the Xbox Series X or both, like, the value there is incredible for how games will look and play.
Wilmy, you went and picked yourself up one of those Origin PCs. You know what real power feels like, arriving in one of them wood crates you need a jackhammer to get your computer out of. How do you feel about something like the Series X giving you that kind of fucking crazy performance for gaming?
Oh, I'm excited for it. I mean, even though I am primarily a PC gamer, there's a lot of times I don't want to screw with the PC and I just want to play on a console.
Yeah.
So if the next best thing to my PC will be the X.
Well, hang on. I gotta expose Pro Zombie here.
picture me.
Origins is not better than Odyssey. God, why are people saying this? Colt, what's wrong? Is it opposite day?
Well, some things in Origins I think are
Hey,
better
you're
than
right.
Odyssey.
You're right. I'm sorry.
I mean, Odyssey's amazing, but it's not better than Origins.
You mean Origins is not better than
All I
Odyssey?
gotta say is the people that are saying,
Yeah, that's
you
what I
guys
mean.
are malacas. That's all I gotta say.
Malacca.
Yeah, Odyssey's amazing, but Origins is better. But there's some stuff I really like about going into the pyramids and going to the tombs are really cool. Like that whole vibe's cool. But yeah,
I know Fonz
Pyramids-
loved Origins a lot more.
Fuck you.
You remember
That's
when
weird.
Fonz talked shit about Odyssey for like a year and we finally got him to play it?
Well, because he kind of hated Origins.
Well, he
Yeah,
hated the very end of Origins. He's like, fuck all
Hey,
Assassin's Creed
Origins
forever.
really put. Yeah,
Hey,
Origins.
Dave,
really
why
put
didn't
me off of
Fonz
Assassin's
like
Creed.
Origins, Dave?
Nah, I don't know.
Why'd you do the
He's not
Dave
here.
thing?
I remember Fonzarelli came around on the old Odyssey pretty hard.
Now Odyssey's great, but
I did
Origins,
too.
I
So
fell off Origins quick, dude. That ending just put me off of that whole series. I thought I was done with the series, dealer. I thought I was.
I know
completely
that's kind
done
of a
with it.
fraudulent frame of mind, but yeah, I hear you, man.
No, it's not. When they piss you off with the writing that bad, and it's just like I'm just done with this, and I hate.
You said, "Fuck it, I don't care if the next guy isn't even related to the one who made this one." Like, it's done
sorry,
forever.
But the gameplay loop in Origins was ass. That those side missions were complete dog.
And then we
shit,
told
and
you for like months and months, this is not the same. The side missions are much better. Like everything's better. You're like, fuck
know,
it, I
but
heard
hey,
on the
you know
video,
what?
it's
I didn't want to
bad.
believe it. I didn't want to believe it.
Oh,
But
man.
it was true. It was better. Miles better.
It is a great game, man. It is good. Wilmy said he was kind of in the same boat. He had to come around on it.
I did. Lethal and Obi, they're in the chat. They actually talked me into playing it. I sunk like 160 hours into it before I knew what the fuck I was doing.
Wow.
He's running
Yeah.
around not killing anybody for 160 hours.
No, I got all the way to Hades, and at that point, you put so many hours into it, and the game's so huge, you kind of get tired of playing it though
Yeah.
after a while.
Yeah, that was the problem with the final DLC. I
Yeah.
mean, it's called Battle for Atlantis or some shit, and I ain't even seen Atlantis yet. I'm like, where the fuck is this place?
Yeah,
That's the whole point. It's Atlantis, it's the lost city.
It's fucking lost. On the way there, I got lost.
Yeah, it was totally lost. I never found it either.
Shit!
So I feel too bad.
Hey,
I don't like it. You know what? One thing I don't like about the AC games is when it travels back into the future
Oh
and you have
my
to play
gosh, no
with
kidding.
those characters. I don't care for that.
Yeah,
I
they need
really
to take that.
don't.
hey,
Take
Alex,
that
Alex, we do
sound.
know what Malacca means, sir. Okay, that's why we say it.
I've told them the definition as a Greek man.
Zalker
Malacca.
Exactly
told
what
us
it
some weird things. You're like, Zalker, we're not saying that. Okay, no,
Hey,
that's not what it
Zalker.
means.
Zucker,
Yeah.
you like it, the juice, huh?
I like it. The juice is Ziki.
Okay, all right. We got hey, Geekhead. The Geekhead has a question now that Zalker done ruined the podcast.
Yogurt slinger.
Geekhead says, "What new games are you looking forward to? What do you think Microsoft will reveal this E3 from the first party? That would be Fable for one. What about you? What say you, Colt Eastwood?" Okay.
The Initiative's game, but I'm coming around on the Perfect Dark thing because I know Daryl
What time
Daryl
you
Gallagher
know?
will do something cool. So if it is Perfect Dark, I'm excited to see how much they elevated it. So
Yeah, I mean, it could be Perfect Dark, but completely revamped and different in every way and still called Perfect. That's
I mean,
what I
like
said.
Tomb
Like, I just
Raider.
want it to be good.
yeah,
That's all I want.
I agree.
That's all I want.
I-
Fonzarelli, first party. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking for whatever it is the initiative is working on. I'm hoping it's not Perfect Dark, but if it is, I'm kind of with Colt that they could do something special with it. But man, I want something new, man. I want a brand new IP from them.
All right. Woomy Hood, what are you looking forward to?
Perfect Dark.
Okay.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I remember playing the original. I've really got high hopes for it. No, man. I really, I've been gaming a lot longer than some of you guys. I'm an old
Hey,
fuck,
don't start talking shit now.
But I really want to see something, completely different in this franchise. I think they can take it and do a lot
They
of different
could.
things with it.
They could.
So-
Well, I mean, Perfect Dark was trash, but yeah, we'll hopefully they'll reboot. No, it wasn't trash. It was just like I don't think there's a lot of stock in the name, and I just thought, well, if you're gonna revamp
Yeah.
it and make it
Well,
completely
I mean,
different, why not call it something
Perfect
different?
Perfect Dark Zero was not.
I felt the same way about
good.
Bleeding Edge, but I mean,
Well,
I would
Wimmy,
say Perfect Dark.
you're a
Zero
man
was
of
good.
particular graveyard like taste. So, hey, D-Batch, first party, what are you wanting to see from them?
I just want a good action game, over the shoulder, that's got a great storyline and that pushes the boundaries of the graphics that we know today. And with physics, there's something new and amazing that just fucking blows us away. I don't care what it is. Just give me a great fucking action.
You want some next gen stuff, right?
Fact.
Right, man.
There's no games and stuff.
There's no games and stuff, but that's facts as you speak.
There's no
I want a Mario 300.
there's no games on this fucking Xbox, bitch. Hey, Zalker, first party. What are you looking forward to, bitch?
I'm looking for any type of game to come out. No, I just honestly I want something violent. I want something new, violent, like honestly, like Rise, like I love Rise because it was just extremely violent, cutting limbs off, fucking stabbing people through the neck. Like I want something like I don't like if it's a Rise 2, fuck yeah, I'll be happy as hell. But I just want something like that where it's just violent.
Like a Weekend in Myrtle Beach. I got you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it'll take? Is untold amounts of violence to get you to play a game on Xbox? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I like that.
And 100%.
I like
I
that.
want something like cool, like like obviously sets the benchmark and graphics. Like I understand we got Hellblade 2 coming, and that has like swords and shit, and hopefully it's gonna be extremely violent. But
swords and stuff.
Nano says he wants first person extremely realistic graphics.
I like swords.
I mean, have you played the newest Modern Warfare, Nano? Because it's pretty damn fire. I gotta agree.
Wow.
Or
that caught me off guard, to be honest.
Or soccer has a second choice.
What?
I just left everybody sitting there.
Or he's like, or Sea of Thieves 2.
And
I'm out.
there it is.
No.
No, please,
Lone Star
dear
says a
Lord.
new
God,
Dead
no.
Space. Yes.
Yeah.
That would be
Honestly,
great.
Dead Space would
Dead
be fucking
Space would be
so
epic.
weak.
Yeah, Dead Space would be good.
Yeah, hey, Manny says, what if the initiative is working on Scalebound? They are not, but I see where you're going with that. It would be interesting, but unfortunately, Scalebound was made by Platinum, and Platinum just aren't good.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Say what you want, but I played Vanquish and Bayonetta last night, and like both of these games are trash.
Oh,
But that's my opinion. You know, guess what?
They have cult followings, but yeah,
That's
I
my
agree. Yeah,
opinion. I don't
care for
like
Bayonetta
them.
at
I just
all.
do not like them. I don't think they
I don't
do
like
as
it.
You were enjoying Vanquish and everything yesterday, sliding on your knees.
it's fucking what did I call? Oh yeah, I had a particular name for that slide. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead. You know what? That's our time. It's been about 2 hours, guys. Thank you so much for rocking out with us. Everyone, 1,500 plus that showed up tonight. We do thank you so much. Hit that like button if you haven't. Let's try to crush 700 likes for the end of the show, 1,000 after the fact or more. And you guys are the best. Share this out. Check out the links down below if you want to become a channel member. Hit that join button. Support Cody Eastwood, Zalker, D-Batch, Fonzarelli, xCloud, Tim Dog. Follow him on Twitter. And, of course, Wilmy Hood here. He has a show tomorrow that I do frequent occasionally. We're going to get into some of their outros. But, again, thank you for making the show what it is, guys. We do like to have some fun and be stupid and tell dumb jokes and make dumb voices. But, you know, we're not taking it too seriously. Hopefully you don't either. Cody Eastwood, thanks for joining us, buddy. What have you been playing? Where can people find you, man?
I've been playing Vanquish, and I did a bunch of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and got a bunch of the expanded content done. I really enjoyed that. You can find me at Colt Eastwood on Twitter and Xbox Live and YouTube, and I just did that video on Monday. And yeah, I really appreciate the support, and people have been reaching out and commenting and telling me they're liking the stuff and kind of guiding and directing. So it's really helpful. So I appreciate the support.
Awesome. Yeah, check out Colt's last video. D-Batch, what have you been up to, buddy? Where have you been playing and where can people find you?
So I just got my Oculus Quest today. I fired up, I think it's Vader Immortal or something like that, the Star Wars thing in the VR. I'm pretty blown away by the experience. I'm blown away by the wireless VR, and I'm going to double down and say that once again, whoever can bring the cheapest wireless solution to VR will win the race. I'm really enjoying myself with it. You guys can catch me on Twitter at D_Batch, and of course at YouTube at DEEBatch, BATCH.
Yeah, we got to shout out to everyone in the chat too. Good night, you guys. Hopefully, be safe out there and eat some food, guys. Don't forget to eat. You will fucking die if you don't eat for long enough.
What?
That's a thing. So eat some
Not
food.
if you drink water.
You
He's
can,
a liar.
you'll still die, guys. Just don't forget. Wilmy Hood. I'm gonna skip past Fonz because he's been bad today. No, Wilmy, I'm gonna get your information real quick. What have you been playing, bud? And where can people find you, man?
Oh man,
Tell us about your show.
Oh, thank you. I've been all over Call of Duty lately, and like I said, Journey to the Strange Planet or whatever the hell that game's called. You can find me. Yeah, Savage Planet. You can find me on Twitter at Wilmy Hood. You can find me on Xbox Live, PlayStation, Epic, Steam, Battle.net, just about any place you can play a game, man. My happy ass is there playing them.
Grubhub.
Not on Grubhub and not on 4chan, unfortunately.
Uber Eats. Are you available on Uber Eats?
But and tomorrow night, of course, you can find me on YouTube. I've got the Gaming Beyond the Box podcast. I'm going to have the one and only Lord Cognito on the podcast tomorrow night.
Nice.
And I'm going to have Dizzy and a couple other guys, and we are going to go. I don't know.
You watch out for that Cognito fella. He's a slippery devil.
Yeah. We're a different type of gaming podcast, man. We just talk about games kind of like you guys do. We don't take this shit serious. We're all just gamers. I own every platform, man, you can possibly think of, and so does my panel. We're just all about the games. And
you're supposed to have fun with gaming, right? It's not all negativity and trash, right?
Yeah, and see, I'm happy D finally got a quest, because now if I talk about VR, if I'm here on RDX, everybody doesn't hate me in the chat.
Well, we're not falling asleep in real time, but yeah, I hear you.
Are you playing on the Tiger handheld too?
No, I don't have that one.
I just played Crysis 3 in the Etch-a-Sketch. The shit was fire.
Hey, sadly, I've only tried the xCloud a couple of times on my iPhone because I've just been so busy, man. I just have not had the time to do it.
How's the experience been?
The couple of times I've played it, it's been great. But right now, we're
Stadia, Wilmy. You on Stadia?
I do not own Stadia.
Tell me you own Stadia.
I do have a little common sense, and I don't have a lot of faith in
Thank you.
it. Because I bought Google Glass years ago when those came out, and I know how that ended.
You probably still wear that bitch to this day, don't you?
No, I gave them to my dog, and she didn't like them.
Fucking dog. Oh, fuck. Hey, well, either way, man, thanks for coming on, man. And be sure and go check out Wilmy's stuff and follow him on Twitter as well. Fonzarelli, what have you been playing? Where can people find you, bud?
Yeah, I've been playing Doom. I just beat that Sam story on the Metro Exodus as well. Yeah, pretty good. I gave it a 6.5. It's just the screen tearing and some frame rate BS, man. That it really kind of upset me. I
haven't had any frame rate issues yet.
Oh, they're okay.
It's just the 30 frames and the motion blur and the fluttering. Yeah.
The screen tearing is really bad. Really gets on your nerves.
I was playing with that variable refresh rate, boy. So I don't have none of that.
Did it help?
Yeah.
Oh, wait till later. It'll probably get worse.
That C9 doing work.
It does get worse. It does get worse.
Well, I'm sorry that you. I mean, maybe you'll like the flamethrower DLC better, but I mean, I don't see it picking up for you.
Nah. But yeah, I'm loving Doom right now. I'm towards the end of that. I'm probably about 80% done with it, and I'm having a blast. And I can't wait for the next one. But you guys can find me on Twitter, jfonzarelli, and find me right here on The Grounded Gamer for the lighter side of news, gaming news. Go over to my YouTube channel, check it out. Yeah,
check out The Grounded Gamer at The Grounded Gamer on YouTube, and he does have a singing channel as well. We've also got Zalker87, buddy. What have you been playing? Where can people find you?
Apex Legends.
No, actually, I haven't played Apex Legends in a while. I've been playing Zombie Army 4. Actually, it's pretty fucking fun. I'm having a really good time with that. I've been playing with, again, people in here.
Look at this bitch ass stormtrooper about to get fucked up.
He did get fucked up.
What? Sorry.
Yeah, and you guys can find me on Twitter at Zalker87 and then Zalker87 on YouTube. And the next game I'm going to play after Zombie Army, I actually just bought it last night, is Darksiders Genesis. I wanted to see how it was going to review. It reviewed very well. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's a Diablo-esque game on the Xbox, and I'm going to check that game the fuck out because it looks cool.
It is very fun, dude. Some of us PC players have had it for a couple of months now.
Okay.
No need to talk shit here, Graveyard Woman.
I got it for my buddy because we game share, and so he's going to play with me, I think. I hope, because he's a fraud and plays WoW, and that's it. So we'll see if he actually plays it.
Who buys a PC nowadays just to play WoW?
His dumb ass.
Play that on a calculator.
Most
people. No shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I look forward to playing. And chat, you guys are awesome like always. I love the panel, love everybody in here. It's fucking awesome, man. I love Tuesdays. So yeah,
chat's the best.
Fraud.
We do have the best chat in the universe, man. I think I got everybody right. Yes,
so.
I got D-Batch already.
Oh,
How about Tim?
How about D-Batch?
Tim Dog, can you not
Tim
be in here so you can talk? He's not here, so
Okay.
yeah.
Great if you
Guys,
just log
you
in
can
and
find
stream and
me.
leave.
You can find me here on YouTube. Obviously, you're watching it now. Hit the subscribe button, the bell icon if you haven't. Of course, Twitter at dealer_gaming. Those links are down below. Xbox Live at ii_dealer_ii. We are, man, we're almost up to 65K on YouTube. So we've been chugging along. And shout out to everyone who checked out and supported the last video. That thing's doing really, really well. Don't worry, not going to the PlayStation side. As some have begged me and Colt to do. We're not doing it. All right? We're not into PlayStation as much. We talk about what we like, right? So we make the occasional video on things we kind of feel need to be said, but otherwise we're kind of focused on Microsoft and the ecosystem we prefer. Do want to say thanks to everyone who's been rocking out with us for almost 3 years now on the podcast. You've made it what it is. And again, you guys are awesome. If you haven't hit that like button and shared it out, help us out a little bit. I got to say that. They got a gun to my head. And of course, I've been playing Zombie Army 4. We just beat that last night. Played a little bit of Vanquish and Bayonetta. Quickly uninstalled them shits. And of course, the new Metro Sam DLC, which, man, that game still looks so good a year later, Fonz. You might give it a 6.5, but I gave it a 10.10 out of 10 on visuals because it looks really, really good. It's really, really good looking. So
it looks phenomenal, but again, that screen
no negativity, Fonzarelli. No, we just did
really
this.
Bad.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
just
man.
rough playing a first-person shooter at 30 frames.
Yeah. And the motion blur, I had to turn the motion blur down to low, but I'm having some fun with it right now. It's certainly, it blows my mind that the game looks that good, and they also have the water effects looking that good as well. A lot of games compromise on that. Yeah. And they didn't do. They said, "Fuck you. We don't need to. We're 4A, and we can do whatever we want." I mean, they said it. They said it on Twitter. It was a random tweet. So
not just that. Some of the level designs in the later levels aren't very good.
You know what, Fonz? That's all subjective.
Yeah, you'll see.
I'm currently lost right now. I'm supposed to take.
Colt can't read. Don't just ignore what these guys are saying. He has a hard time.
Gaming's like positivity. Yeah, you know what? We do throw a lot of positivity out there, but you got to be negative when you have to be sometimes. Yeah. Some of these games,
somebody's paying Fonz to shit on this game. I don't know who's doing it, man, but I'm trying to. It's probably Raid Shadow Legends.
6.5 isn't a complete shit. A 6.5 is a decent score. It's above average.
I'm just kidding. I don't care if you gave it a 4. I'm just fucking with you, making it entertaining, Fonz. You guys got to pick up on this by now.
Of course,
it's pretty fun so far. I'm enjoying it. There's more places to loot in the DLC than there was in the main damn game. That's what I'm noticing. So if you see something that looks cool, there's likely actually something there to loot, unlike the main game. Yep. And maybe they patched that. But when I played it at launch, the main game, you think there would be more loot and stuff places. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having fun with it when I get a chance to play it. I just beat Zombie Army 4. I'm also almost done with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And then on top of that, I did try the Vanquish and Bayonetta. Like I said, weren't my cup of tea. That's fine. Some of you don't like the shit I like. I don't. Like I said before, motherfucker. I don't. Just because I like mayonnaise, don't mean you gotta like it, right? It's probably the worst thing for me to say. But shit, we don't gotta like the same shit.
You really do like mayonnaise. I mean,
all right.
I don't like mayonnaise.
Let's just leave Fonzarelli's obsession with mayonnaise out of it. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna say bye. Thank you guys for rocking out with us again. Check out Nuve Nukem at Gaming After Dark. I think he's going on right about now. And again, guys, thank you for what you do. We're out.
Later, everybody.
Mayonnaise.
Hit the button.
We're gonna hit the button right when this page refreshes. So you just give me a second. And
Fonz just said he fucking loves mayonnaise.
Fonz, Colt, you're not allowed to say "be nice" anymore after Twitter. Okay, that's no more.
Shut up, you idiot. Shut up.
God damn.
I like